but we keep it consistent. Welcome to the next dimension in entertainment. Coming to you live from the offices of Chapter One Films in Charlotte, North Carolina, this is the 4D Podcast with your hosts, Greg Prinz, Nathaniel Levinson, and Marco Brutus. Sit back and enjoy a deep dive into film. This is the 4D Podcast.
We don't have sponsors yet. Jakob would be furious.
Jakob likes alcohol.
Jakob,
That's the one thing we agree on.
Jakob might.
Although he prefers vodka, which is like pointless.
What kind of alcohol could you get from kale?
Vodka. That's why he prefers vodka.
Is that real? Is that true?
You can make vodka from literally any plant matter.
That seems made up.
No.
How does that work?
How does it work? Because it's distilled. You take any plant matter, you shred it up, you add some yeast, and it will ferment because there are sugars in it. There's not a lot of sugar in kale, but you can ferment it.
I wonder what
And then
kind
you
of
just
vodka
boil
you
that
could get
and
from
distill it.
kale. That'd be wild.
Just terrible.
Let
That
me
would
see.
be
If
it's all
so
Jakob
bad.
drinks.
It'd be so bad.
It's all he drinks. It's a cold one today, folks.
It is indeed a bit of a cold one.
You're welcome, everybody, for getting out of our houses today.
Ving, kale, lemon peel, and cucumber vodka. Well, that's more of a kale spirits. No.
I think if you have kale and vodka together,
Bad.
I mean, it's probably going to be a no for me, dog. It is November 10th. It's a good month. It's a cold day, though. Very cold day here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We braved the cold and came to the offices of Chapter One Films to bring you this podcast. We are going over two movies that were released on November 10th at some point in history. The two movies are Three Billboards Outside of
Ebbing, Missouri.
Ebbing, Missouri. I kept saying Eddington, Missouri, which isn't real, but
It might
said
be.
it
It might be.
Missouri.
anyways, the thing that you just said,
And Murder on
And
the Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express, the one that was released in
2017.
17.
Interestingly enough, so there was another. So there's been two other screen adaptations. One was in
Two
20.
other ones, huh?
Yeah. So one was in 2010, but it was part of a series, a TV series, that was just like a Poirot TV series.
I'm willing to guess that was booty.
No, apparently it was pretty good. No, it's David Luche. I was literally just looking at this. It's this guy named David Luche, and he did like a series, like a TV series of different Poirot mysteries, and they did Murder on the Orient Express, and apparently it's pretty.
How many
decent.
books were made?
Agatha Christie wrote like 60 books. In terms of how many had Hercule Poirot in it,
Yeah.
like 10, I think.
Okay.
Something like 10. He's so I was reading a collection of 5 different Poirot mysteries, and that's not all of them. So I read Murder on the Orient Express, but I also read another one that I liked more called 13 Dinners. It was hilarious.
So, well, this is.
Oh, but sorry. My point. The other film, the first film adaptation, which Agatha Christie actually watched because she was still alive, was in 1974.
R.I.P.
Yep, and it actually comes out if we did the movie thing for 2 weeks from now. It actually came out on November 24th.
That's too funny.
It's wild.
Wow. We're not going to be doing that.
We're not going to do that, but I did
Wasn't a
watch
good
that
enough
as well.
movie.
So
we watched these two
can you
movies.
turn my mic up. I can't hear me.
We are
mic?
here to.
I can't hear me at all. Maybe my headphones. Oh, that's much better. Okay.
We are here to bring you our takes on those two movies. If you have seen them, well, buckle up because we're about to give our thoughts.
You
and
might
opinions.
be wondering what the occasion is
Yeah,
for us drinking.
I was just about to interrupt Mr. Gregory and notate that it is the day before our one and only Gregory.
Which means I think
turns-
legally we have to do this.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday to you.
Doodly-doo.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Doodly-doo.
Happy birthday, Robert Friends.
Ah,
Happy birthday to you. Which we can legally do because that Happy Birthday song has passed into the public domain. This was a couple years ago now, but it passed into the public domain. It was not public domain, which is why when you would go to a restaurant, they always had their weird birthday jingle thing.
Is that
Oh,
real?
yeah.
Yes, because
that was-
legally
that's-
they could not sing Happy Birthday.
I feel like some of them got away with it because they just do it really quickly. They're like, "Happy birthday!" and you're
Yep.
like, "Well, hey, you got it. You sang the real one."
yeah,
You always praise
So,
the
anyways,
ones.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yes, congratulations on your birthday, on the date of birth
Well,
tomorrow.
Thank you.
You did
11/11.
really good.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Actually,
So-
he did nothing. His mom did really good.
If I could say a word and throw the praise right back, I congratulate Mr. Marco Brutus on buying a house today. He closed on a house earlier today. It was going to be a last minute thing, whether he got here to do the show. So we're happy he's here.
I made it.
We're happy he's got a house. He wasn't happy the last couple days, I can tell you. My goodness. Because paperwork and Marco.
I can't stand buying a house.
Let me just tell you one thing about Marco before he tells you things about himself. Marco likes a lot of things. He also doesn't like a lot of things. And one of the things that he doesn't like is paying for things that he doesn't quite understand. And there's a lot of that when you buy a house. There's so much of that. When you buy a house, like you're like, all right, you know it's gonna be a lot. And you're like, okay, here's the money, whatever. You put the money. And then like a random person's like, hey, I'm Phil, you owe me $75. And you're like, all right. I think that's fine considering I'm paying a whole lot, but Phil, why? And then he's just like, for the tapestries, and you're like, I don't understand. And he's like, give me the $75. You give him $75, and then somebody else comes up and like, hey, you owe me $300. You're like, okay, I'm pretty sure I don't owe you $300. He's like, yeah, well, you got it because you got to fill this thing out, and then there's stepping stones, and you're like, well, if I had $300, and it's that for like 3 weeks leading up into you buy the house.
I think the biggest issue that I had was. And then I have every time that I've ever done something like this, I bought a house, I sold a house, and now I'm buying a house again. And one of the biggest issues is that me and my wife, more specifically my wife, is incredibly organized. She's crazy organized. She has all the documents that we would ever need to buy a house readily available in a very spreadsheety style way where it's all, here you go. 2 weeks ago, we received all the things and said, great, we're going to send everything to you. Are we good? Are we done? Are we on our side? Are we good?
For now.
2 days before the actual closing date, mind you, this was Friday.
We were in a shoot.
We were at a shoot in Florida at like 3 o'clock or something.
Marco
I get
not
a
happy
call,
camper.
and it's like, "Hey, I need this done by 3:30." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that at 3:30." And so I'm like rushing back to my parents' house, is where we stayed. I can't.
So yeah, we're not going to rehash that. That wasn't the intention of me saying
apologies.
that. The congratulations is that you're done with that.
Yes.
We think, for the most part. But
That sounds like your realtor's problem.
Well, we don't want to call out his realtor because we've had his realtor on the podcast, and we love him.
Mr. Liam Maxwell is in the house.
Hey.
Yes.
Hit him with the horn.
How's the weather in Jersey? Because it's actually cold here. Have you gotten snow?
I don't know.
What
do you think? What do you think they're doing in Jersey right now? Everybody collectively.
Gambling.
Are they?
Frigid. They are. They are
gambling.
Gambling.
They're either gambling
warm in
or
the casino.
making homemade bagels. Like
That is
I feel like those are
that's
the only
pretty much
two
it.
options. You're
Eating
like, what else is there to do
some
in Jersey?
pork roll.
Pork roll. It was kind of mid. I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
just
I had
ham.
some pork-
It's fine. Like it's good.
It's just,
but it's not like.
I had better things in Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's cycle back. We are going to talk about a couple movies. If you are watching, we're glad you're watching. If you're like, hey, I want to start making comments and kind of
Don't keep
join in
your mouth shut. Keep your
live.
opinions to yourself.
You gotta like and subscribe to our channel. It helps us with the algorithm and it allows you to join in, and we want to hear from you. So go ahead and do that for us, and yeah, let's get on into this. So Marco, tell us which movie we'll be starting with.
We are going to be starting with Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And what I want to do,
get this one out of the way.
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Neither
we'll get
of
into
them.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, to be fair,
but I have more to say on murder.
Okay.
This one is like
okay. So as we always do. We pick a number, a random number. ChatGPT gives me a number between 10 and 30, 10 seconds and 30 seconds. And one of you are going to give me a recap of the movie in that random number generated amount of seconds. So the number that ChatGPT was given.
Do you have one you'd rather do? You can keep going.
I'd rather do more than the Orient Express because this one I don't know if you
Then
give me 10 minutes. I don't know if I can tell you what happened.
Recap. That's fair. I'll do this one.
Okay, so it's 29 seconds, so it is almost the peak of what you can do.
Perfect.
But you're gonna need every second, in my opinion.
Okay, the only thing I need to be reminded of is it Gertrude? No.
No, her name is
It's an awful name.
Mildred.
Mildred. Ugh.
Yeah, Mildred.
Tell me
Mildred
you're
is
ugly
the one.
without telling me you're ugly.
Let me get my timer up and ready.
If your name
so
is
hateful.
Mildred.
Yeah,
It's in Greg's mind, someone has a baby. He's like, this baby is hideous. Must be a Mildred.
God, it's bad.
Yes, that is
what are you-
correct. That's actually the correct answer.
Tell me you're a school bus driver without telling me you're a school bus driver. You know what I mean? like bad.
Tell me you smell like cigarettes without telling me you smell like cigarettes. Mildred, there you go.
All right, there
Have a
it
nice
is.
day.
If you don't smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, your name's not Mildred. I'm sorry.
Oh, gosh.
All right,
this is
so
gonna be a
29
wild
seconds
one.
on the clock. Are you
Okay.
ready, sir? Or do
Hold
you need
on.
a half a
Give me-
second?
Give me 1 second.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me know when you are ready.
Maybe give him 10 minutes. Not that it's a complicated movie.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, I can go for it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, start.
Mildred is a woman whose daughter was murdered and raped, and there was no justice found for her daughter. They couldn't find the killer, so she bought these 3 billboards outside of her town to basically call out the police chief. She calls out the police chief. Some people hate it. Most people hate it. Some people like it. It stirs up a whole bunch of controversy in the town. She starts some fights. Some people get angry at her. There's a lot of hatred that goes back and forth. Not a whole lot gets solved. And at the very end of the movie, they just decide to go kill a random rapist, not the one that raped her daughter. That was pretty solid, honestly.
I'm impressed with
I
the
didn't
timing.
flesh out the characters because it was just Mildred, but like
There's a lot of characters
that's
to be had.
pretty
to be
much
fair.
what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
You want me to sum it up in 1 second?
What?
Small town Americans suck.
Yes, we'll
Okay,
get into
okay.
that. We'll get into that. Okay,
Yeah,
so okay, all right. Well,
God, I can't. I
give us
am
some
very
direct-
upset
Hell or
about
High
this.
Water. Hell or High Water was much.
Oh my
better
God, it's
than Small
infinitely
Town,
better.
like, so
There's
much.
only one redeeming quality of this movie, and I'll get right into it. Is the score? That's
Yeah.
the only thing. That's the only thing, in my
score was
opinion.
good.
I thought
that-
Woody Harrelson was great.
Eh,
His character was like meh,
I think that's what it was. I think his characters didn't fit who he was as a person.
the acting. Okay, well, give us a topic. Let's keep us on
let's
board.
start since I already brought it up. Let's start with the one thing in my opinion that was any good, which was the score. So what I'll do is the score and the cinematography
Yeah,
side of
what
it.
do we
We'll
think about
we'll
that?
talk about that first, and then we'll get into all the rest. Score. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought the music behind everything was really, really well done. I also am a little bit biased because I like that music. I like that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of music that I listen to on a
Yeah, it's
regular
good
basis.
music.
I thought it. As far as like you could if you were just a lay movie watcher, you could just say like the feel of the movie. Like what did that hit? Did it feel like you were pulled into a small town? If you eliminate all the characters and you were just walking around the scenery and the music that you heard, I thought that it was fine. Like it sounded and what?
No, I thought it was bad.
You thought the cinematography was bad?
No. The way that you had presented it was, did you feel like
You were
were
sucked into a
in
small town?
that particular town?
I'm saying if you eliminate all the characters, we're not talking about the characters
It's
yet.
now a
I'm just
ghost
saying
town.
like walking around and seeing like the sights and the trashy front yards and the broken down cars and like
Okay.
the small schools.
I get your point.
I thought that whole feel was fine. I thought the cinematography was fine. I will bring up one hilarious point, but the cinematography for the most part was fine, and the score was fine.
You talk about the deer.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Oh boy, jeez, Louise, somebody wrote that. But
Somebody wrote that whole movie, Greg.
Also, it's not asking for much. Like if I had the equipment that I have at hand with Chapter 1, I could probably go and film that. Like there wasn't anything.
Yeah, there wasn't
any
anything
dynamic
spectacular.
shots. There was a lot of static shots. There was a lot of wides of roads with cars passing by.
Yeah.
And some very like there was nothing tricky or fancy done with the cameras.
I thought all the cinematography was just fine. There wasn't anything spectacular. There wasn't anything terrible.
They weren't asked to do anything
with
difficult.
one exception,
Yes, now we can talk about it. So, okay, there is a scene.
which doesn't
can't
add
believe this happened.
literally
This-
anything to
yes.
the movie.
All right, so yeah, we'll get into the topic of. So we got rid of the cinematography.
Is the
It's
deer
not
in
really- I don't know.
cinematography?
I
Is
guess.
the deer?
You're
it
saying
was
the one
CGI.
thing that seemed there was a. We
Yes,
don't have to talk about the
loop it
actual
into-
reason.
Yeah, we'll loop it
but-
into CGI.
But there
All right,
was
fair.
there was one moment of really bad CGI where there's this deer, and that scene really doesn't serve any purpose in the movie.
Yeah.
None.
And it's just like such a terrible CGI deer. You're like,
and we can talk about its effect on the story and laugh at it in a bit. But as far as just the cinematography aspect of that shot was like
just
okay,
fine.
you have these clearly real, like you're not in a studio, shots of large landscapes. It's all very appealing and fine. That there's nothing tampered. There's zero CGI from what I understand, aside from potentially adding some fire into the billboards if it wasn't real fire. I'm pretty sure some of it might have been alpha files, but like for the most part, there's zero CGI. And then at one point, a deer walks up and doesn't effectively talks to this woman and then walks away, and it looks so bad. against the backdrop of a movie that has no CGI.
Yeah.
Like it always stands out more.
Very
so
out of- very
a
out of
very awful scene, like to the point of me laughing out loud.
I did
it
too.
was
Yeah.
real bad.
I watched it. So quick little recap on how I came about this movie. Right. So I was going to purchase the rental version of it and watch it on my TV. Decided against it. Glad I did, because I went on my phone and watched it on my phone on a cracked stream. That was a glorious pour. I
Just doing that right
were.
in-
right into the right in. I didn't even get that on camera. Oh, just get it in.
That is such a sexy sound.
All right,
Oh man.
back to
Sorry.
what?
What
Sorry,
were you
no, that's all right.
That
it's all
was
right.
better than the movie.
That was.
Yeah, it
Oh,
really
so,
was.
but that sound
That's
was ASMR.
welcome to our
ass.
ASMR cast.
So,
Today we're
so
talking about Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
so I watched it on my phone. So seeing the halo that was around the deer, it was just amplified just because I was on my phone.
Oh god.
That was so weird.
I can almost guarantee you on a TV screen it probably wasn't nearly as bad.
It was pretty darn bad, I
Okay,
can tell you, brother.
all right, fair enough.
We were on
I
a TV
watched-
screen and instantly it was, oh.
I did the same thing. My wife was watching another movie, and I get to that scene. I'm like, I just start dying laughing. She's like, "What do you want?"
It's not a comedy,
Oh, this
but
horrible movie about horrible people.
yeah.
So CGI not great.
Okay.
So on. Go ahead.
Good. What's our next?
I guess we can go into acting. The
acting and the
side of it,
characters.
yeah.
I thought for the most part the acting was solid.
The
It's just
acting
that
is
the
fine,
characters were all horrible.
And I felt like for the most part, aside from one character, they like something I don't like in acting is when somebody's like they're asked to be so over the top and bizarre and weird that it's like, well, you can't tell if they're doing a good or bad job. And those actors typically get a ton of praise. And I'm not saying people like, and I'll give an example, like Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think he does really good roles. I don't think that his roles where he's being a complete psychopath and just a wild lunatic are his best roles. Like I think that him in the first Joker was kind of like, it was just a little over the top for me. Like I was like, I can't tell. He could have been acting this 12 different ways, and there's not really a frame of reference to be able to say, hey, I think you did a really good job. You captured this emotion. It was like nobody that exists that's like that, and so you're kind of just choosing, and you could have chosen a bunch of different directions, and I would have had no other way to say it. I just think that currently we love that kind of, like, Hollywood's like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. So there wasn't a whole lot of that. And I thought that everybody that did, like, I mean, that Mildred, Woody Harrelson, all the main lead actors played their role fine. There wasn't, to be honest, it's a movie that tackles a lot of serious topics, but like when you really think about it, and I broke it down, there's not a whole lot of like intense acting moments.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of crying and intense emotion. Everybody's pretty stoic the whole time and just kind of like a little bit angry at each other.
A little bit?
A lot angry. You do get a few scenes with Mildred where she cries a little bit, but the biggest point of vulnerability, she's by herself, which is, just from an acting perspective, is less difficult if you're just in a room and there's like, hey, cry and break down a little bit. But even that, it wasn't like an intense moment that you'd think of where you look at somebody and you're like, wow, this person's acting the hell out of that role. Like they're killing it. I think for the most part, they weren't asked to do anything all that difficult. Like, but everybody did fine. Like I had no problems with the acting.
With the exception of one character.
With the exception of one character being the cop who kind of has his,
cop guy with the glasses or whatever. I can't remember the cop's name.
Wait, which one?
He
Not
had like
the
a
one with the
speech
glasses.
impediment or something along.
Oh, that guy did. I mean, he just seemed like. Granted, I will say this part, and this will get more into the characters and the acting, but this is what we're transitioning to. Everybody was like, especially every man in the movie was acting like a complete moron, like just, like just dumb. But yeah, especially the one character who they try to flesh him out and give him a little bit of an arc at the end, but we can get into that later. That has no purpose to anything, and they don't do a good job. But his character, he's basically the one of the cops underneath the lead. What you call him, a deputy cop? I don't know, like the lead cop, Woody Harrelson, who's the chief of the police force, who kills himself. One of his cops is kind of a lunatic.
I will say, the Woody Harrelson's acting when he was reading those letters That took a little bit of a hit. He was like,
Oh yeah, that
Mildred,
was.
I am sorry that
Yeah,
I
that was
committed
pretty
suicide. I hope you do not die. Ha ha.
Yeah,
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
He's like, ha ha.
Ha ha.
Yeah, that was a little cringy. But so the guy that I was talking about is just so you guys can see it is this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the guy that I could not stand. Anytime he was on screen, I was just like,
But
just bad.
I think that the movie
some
itself,
of the dialogue was so mumbled, I couldn't even tell what they were saying.
they were just trying
We
to
didn't
be
have
like,
subtitles.
look how dumb these guys are. Look at these dumb
These dumb hicks.
We'll get into this
Yeah.
when we get into the story, but.
Yeah.
But again, the one of the cops, he's probably the second leading character in the whole movie.
Yeah.
What is his name? I don't remember.
J-
His last name is
Jason?
Jason Dixon.
Jason
Dixon.
Dixon is the character's name, and he's a scummy cop. But he's like cartoon character levels of stupid. The whole movie, he's like he can't even like tie he's like falling over like, oh, I don't know where my
Well,
badge
I mean, they
is.
do imply that he's drunk the whole time.
Yeah, well, yes, but
Even
also
still.
like it's like he lives with his mother, and he
They also explain
and-
that his dad died, so he went home to take care of his mother.
right, and yes, but
I'm not arguing that he is an idiot. I'm just saying you are being
I
a
just
little
think-
unfair to the setup.
yeah, okay, but that wasn't a part of the setup. That was revealed later. But
Sure.
the setup is, whoa, look at like. To the point where his mom is like, you remember that it took you 5 years to make it through school?
Yeah,
I mean, 6 years because we had to hold you back
Yep.
1 year. It was so in your face and like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a moron.
yeah, over the top, stupid.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
It was like, it wasn't like, hey, this guy struggles with things. It was like he is a complete oaf to the point where you're trying to be like, are you trying to just break like the tone to be like, this is now a comedy? He's like listening to music while the news of the guy that killed himself happened, and he's dancing his way around.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa, what happened? Why is everyone so mad? And it's like, oh, dude, you're nauseating to be around. And yeah, his
I agree.
character was the only one that was a little bit like, all right, I'm sure he acted it well. I'm sure that was just the direction they gave him, but I thought his character was
Obnoxious. And all the
Horrible.
characters were obnoxious.
Yeah.
Except maybe arguably not Woody Harrelson's character. But even then I was like,
well. Let's transition into characters. So what do you think about the characters, Nathaniel?
they're all obnoxious. There
Oh
was
my God.
no one likable, maybe Peter Dinklage. There really wasn't anyone likable in the entire movie. They're all the people you're supposed to be rooting for are just smug assholes.
Yeah,
Mildred is just
awful,
awful the whole time.
awful. She's a horrible,
All
horrible.
the
What's
cops
crazy-
are awful. Even and here's the
Yeah.
thing: even the black cop that comes in, where it's like, okay, clearly
Such an
he's the one who's
asshole.
going to fix it. He was he didn't do anything either.
Bad.
Everyone is awful.
Yeah,
Just
So one of the things-
awful movie.
So one of the things, and I know we're skipping around.
Oh, do ask Liam
If
you've
he's
seen
watching
this
still.
movie, because this feels like
This
a movie
feels
that
like a
you,
movie
it
Liam
might
would
be a
love.
Liam
Oh,
movie. I'm not guaranteeing it, but this does feel like a Liam movie.
We'll see if he responds if he's still watching. But one of the things, I know we're skipping around a little bit, but one of the things that I just couldn't get past is there was a time in the very beginning of the movie, after all the establishing portions of the movie were done and everything, there was about a 10-minute time frame where it literally hit every single
yeah.
social problem.
All of them were shoved
All
in
of
there.
them were
Every single
shoved in a 10-minute spot. It was police brutality. It was
Racism,
homophobia, sexism. Everything was crammed.
I mean,
in a
even
10-minute spot.
What's the proper way to say it? Midgets, little people.
Yeah.
yeah. They even had that.
Yep.
They threw that in there, like, and then we're gonna make fun of
Oh, it was-
disabled people. Make fun of disabled people.
It was
like
like
we're just gonna.
just slop on the wall.
It painted every character, and we'll try to stick with characters before we get to the story and everything. But like it painted every character as if they were all angry at everybody, and this seemed intentional.
It's funny because you can tell. You could tell which characters you know for a fact are going to be good guys by the color of their skin. There are three
Yeah.
black people in the movie.
They're great.
And they are the only people who are not in any way like horrible.
Yeah.
So the reason why I brought this up in this particular scene or in this particular segment is the idea that this movie had, that they were assuming that this small town it almost comes across as they believe genuinely
That small towns are like that.
small towns are legitimately like this, just a bunch of morons running around with no law whatsoever, and then just
That's the
And
wild
the
part.
police just do
that's
whatever
the
the
big
hell
thing
There
they
is
about it.
want.
no law in this
Yeah.
town,
Oh,
apparently.
mind you, something I found really funny and obviously woke was the only arrest that happened the entire time was against one of the very, very few black people in the entire movie for joints.
He was just like, I'm just going to randomly arrest her. And he's like, yeah, that'll piss her off. And he goes and he arrests the main character, Mildred's friend, who runs this little shop. And she's like, been arrested because I had some joints on me. And he's like, yeah, she had some weed on her. And I'm like, dog, people in this town, like, you beat a dude up
And threw him out
punched
the
his
window.
girlfriend, threw him out the window in front of the new black police chief.
Yeah.
And the black police chief just was like,
Give me your gun and your badge.
and then he's like, hey, listen here. We can't do that anymore. Go ahead and give me your gun and badge. I'm like, give me your gun and badge? Should you have tackled him to the ground and thrown him? Like,
That's attempted murder.
Yeah, of course it is. And then the guy's sitting in the hospital, and then later that same cop gets burned, and he goes to the hospital. He sees the guy, and the guy's just like, I guess I'll give you some orange juice. And I'm like, what is this? What is the law? Like, it's great that you're trying to make a movie that says whatever point you're trying to make. We'll talk about that later. But there's a law.
Yeah, the fact that Mildred also beat the brakes off of two underage kids at school.
Yeah.
Also,
I will say, she walks up,
Kicking the
and
girl in the
kicks-
cooter.
kicks- yeah,
Hilarious.
She goes for the ball kick, and I was like, funny. And then she just goes to the girl and just cunt punt, and I was like. She just did that. And the girl like clutches and goes down. I'm like, you don't have testicles. Yeah, it's
So
gonna hurt, but
funny.
like, come on. Oh
So
my gosh,
funny.
I died.
I just thought it was super funny that it was literally the only arrest was the fact that it was one of, I think, 3 black characters in the entire movie. The person that put up the billboard was a black dude.
Yep.
The new cop, and then this black lady
Yep.
that
Yep.
ran the shop, and it was like I think there was like also a random reporter, but that's so
No,
relevant.
she was
No, she
Asian.
was-
Whatever it was. Anyways, of the 3, one of those is the only arrest in the entire movie.
Yeah, out of
and
like
I find it hilarious.
multiple fights,
Yes.
fire bombings,
Yes.
and an attempted murder at the
And
very
assault.
end.
Arson
All-
with
assault
with the
with the-
billboards
the-
themselves, like
Yep,
literally
yeah.
the entire list
the whole
of bad
thing,
things.
and it was just like,
One
well,
arrest.
we're just sitting around, and like, you have to suspend so much thought and brain power to be like, whoa, this is a real story. Like, how could anybody get past all of these glaring problems when you're trying, like, unless you're like, okay, they're trying to display the movie in a really comedy way, which is not what they're trying to do. Like,
No.
it's just so silly.
So to go back to my previous example, like Hell or High Water was actually like a really good look at
That's so good.
what rural towns were.
It's so
like,
good.
yeah, they're country folk, but they're not stupid.
Yeah, and like,
just
they have their
like,
problems.
They have their problems, but they have like their own way of life. I mean, a great example is that diner scene.
Yeah.
It's like, what don't you want?
Oh, it's so good.
That's such a good, like,
Yeah.
she does not care what, like, she's like, this is a tiny restaurant in a tiny town. We're just going to do things our way.
Right. And again, Hell or High Water didn't shy away from being like, yeah, some people in these smaller towns have different problems that we do, and these are the ways that they're going to slip up. There is some violence that happens there. It looks like this. But there's also, like, hard work, and there's family values, and you care about those things. And this was just, like, small town America is just, like you said, a list off all that they're making fun of short people, they're making fun of disabled people, racist, they're sexist, they're homophobic, they're beating wives, they're raping people. It was all of the things, and then it was just like some angry like white mom preaching to the whole entire movie.
And-
like the whole scene with the priest
and
was
here's
just
the
agonizing.
true
Oh,
irony.
yeah.
Oh man, that we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that speech.
Yeah, woof.
What's super obnoxious is, okay, so her daughter is raped and murdered. Tragic. And they say, and very early in the movie,
Yeah,
the chief says, there are no witnesses. There is no physical evidence. The DNA doesn't match anyone in any crime database in the entire United States. We have literally nothing to go on. We have done our jobs.
right.
But we are at a dead end. We can't magic something out of thin air. There is nothing left for us to do. Now, if they had shown them, okay, maybe we need to try, maybe there's something we missed, and actually like try and then fail and then come back, maybe there would have been a story there about them.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't try hard enough. But that never materialized. And it ultimately was like not about the investigation at all. It was just about them fighting.
Yeah.
And it was just awful. It was just awful people being awful. And she's just so... Mildred is just
she's so unlikable.
Terrible.
She's
Agonizing.
really, really unlikable. And if we're going to bounce around to some of the characters before we get into story here, she has a son. He plays sort of this role of being kind of ticked off at everybody. His parents are separated. Mildred divorced her husband.
Also, is he gay?
I don't think that the son was supposed to be gay, but
I think Red was supposed to be gay.
Yeah,
it's unclear.
Well,
Anyways.
but I think he liked that girl though at his
Maybe.
office.
Unclear.
Is all unclear.
Anyways.
but
Wouldn't shock me.
so the son angry at his dad who used to beat his mom, and so they got divorced. But he's also angry at his mom because his mom is like awful. Like he's expressing that he's like, hey, all this attention you're bringing is like getting me like annoyed at school. Like kids are hating on me. I also just hate being reminded of my sister's all this stuff. Like, you're just doing this for you because you feel bad because she like yelled at her daughter like, yeah, you're gonna walk tonight and I hope you get raped when you walk. And I guess it's kind of leading to the fact that was probably the night that she did.
Yeah.
So the son is kind of like, hey, you're doing this to make yourself feel better. Can you just not do this? And then the mom just like flicks like
Rice
cereal
Krispies
at his face. And it's supposed to be like, what's the tone here that she's just... So he like hates his mom, he hates his dad, and he's just kind of getting thrown around. So I think that he actually he does a good job acting.
Yeah.
But again, you'd think that there'd be more intense moments. They almost interrupt every intense moment with like a bit of humor. Like there's this big argumentative flashback of him, his sister, and his mom, and it's interrupted by a few jokes that they throw in there where he's like, he says the C word, he says cunt, and then she's like, no C words in this house. He's like, oh, then are you gonna leave? And then she's like, what? And he's like, oh, sorry. It was a gag. I had to say it. But it was in the middle of this very intense moment. And so, I don't know.
It was almost Marvel-esque.
Yeah, it felt very, like every time things started to get intense, they'd interrupt it with a joke. So the tone didn't seem right. But other than that, I think we talked about most of the characters. Woody Harrelson is the police chief. He's displayed as a pretty good character. She points out that he's been sitting on his butt and not doing what he can, but then the movie reveals kind of quickly that he kind of did, and perhaps there is some like he could do a better job at caring about his staff and what they're doing, because there's some hinting that his staff is a little racist or a little homophobic or whatever.
So there's a moment. It's the first time he sits down and has a conversation is when we learn about all the stuff that the police have already done. We learn the ins and outs of the case. Like right after she puts the billboards up, he comes and visits her at the house.
Yeah.
And so they sit down at the swing set and they're talking. And he says, look, the DNA didn't match anything. She's like, okay, so take the blood of every man in the town, every man and boy over 8 in the town. He's like, yeah, that's a civil rights violation. She's like, well, every male should be DNA tagged. That way, when they do something awful, they can be tagged for it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's a major civil rights violation. But I feel like the movie's implying like she's in the right. That all men are potential rapists.
So
and they should
again,
all be tagged.
it goes back to the idea of it just being overtly woke.
Yeah.
It's just overtly, hey, here are all the bad things in the world according to the leftists. We're gonna throw them all into a movie within a 10-minute time span of this movie.
It was
and
so
good luck.
nauseating.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was bizarre.
I think that the movie and the director would argue, oh no, there's no way that the director created this movie and was like, yeah, she's perfect. It for sure tries to show her being a bad
she's
mom.
a terrible person.
Yes,
but
it shows her
does
that
also
like
show her as like kind of in the right.
Yes, but there are several preachy moments, and we could transition into that now, into the story portion of this movie, because there are just these moments. So that was one of them.
Do you want me to lay down like the major story beats?
Yeah.
Can we half a second just take a quick
and we can
look
pause if we want to like
Yeah.
develop one.
What was the slippers scene?
It's her losing her fucking mind.
Yeah,
I don't.
is that what
you
it
see,
ended?
no, that's exactly my point. So that's exactly my point, in that any time things got serious, it would be interrupted. The tone shift was so unpleasant that you'd be like, okay, she's taking a deep breath. She had this big moment, and then she goes, hi, what do you think you should do? I don't know, you should kill him. Talking to her slippers, and it's like, what do you want me to feel right now?
It was a weird scene.
And if anybody is jumping in
and the
and is
deer
like,
scene.
that's how people cope with it. They make jokes. No, I'm sorry, that doesn't work in a movie. Like that is me trying to sympathize in any way, if you can try to build sympathy for a character like this,
And
or any character in this
the
movie.
thing is, you can have something like that happen if you're showing like, hey, this character is actually going insane, but that's not what they were doing.
No, it was. It was meant to be charming, I guess. It was meant to be. I think she was meant to be taken as somebody who is pushed to a certain point and made angry, and she's doing some things that are bad, obviously, and some things that you'd say, oh, well, she's just doing that because she's. Like, I think some people would defend some of the things she's doing, and some of them they would say are overtly wrong. But for the most part, she's kind of supposed to be seen as charming and strong. And I'm like, no, you're awful. You're awful, and like the tone shifts didn't help.
So if you want to go through the major story beats, then we can pause and talk about them, and let me know if I missed one. So movie opens, she's driving down the road, sees the billboards, and these are they're near her house. Like you can see them from the porch of her house.
Yep.
So she's driving by. These are like decrepit billboards that haven't been used in forever. She stops, like looks at the advertising. So she goes and rents the advertising, and then it says, it's like rape while dying, still no suspects. How come Chief Willoughby?
Yeah.
So those are the three billboards. Chief gets to the house and confronts her about it, and that's when we get the details of the case. That he basically has done everything he can. We get the first, like all men are rapists and they should be held accountable. Like, okay,
Get a little bit of preachy moment.
Yeah. So I think the next major thing that happens is the dentist.
Yeah. So well, there's kind of an overarching. People are getting unsettled by seeing.
People are being unsettled. Some people are saying, "Yeah, you should take this down."
And actually, the priest scene happens first, so we want to talk about.
Oh,
that.
Is that
Yep,
before?
that
Okay.
first.
So yeah. So
that's kind of the first interaction.
The first major interaction
after
is people are getting unsettled. She comes home and there's a priest in the house, like Catholic priest, and the priest says, "Hey, I don't think you should have these billboards up."
Which let's dive into this for a second. So I had this question, and you seemed to maybe support it a little bit, but I was basically saying I haven't been to a whole lot of small towns, but it's odd for me to think of like, is that how like a pastor of a small town would act now? I'm not saying like ages ago when it was like, hey, we have the one church and there's like 5 settlements around it. I'm not going like, as it's depicted in the movie. If there was a church, like this is so I'm a believer, a Christian. I go to church. Me and Nathaniel go to the same church. Our pastor would go and speak to his flock, the people that are part of his church, and reach out, the pastoral staff and all that stuff. They would not go to a random person outside of the church and be like, hey, why are you not acting this way? And treat them as if they're supposed to be a believer.
He does imply like she stopped coming to church. Like she was part of the congregation and she stopped. I will say, in small towns that only have like one church, it is very common for everyone to attend the church, even if they're not necessarily religious, just because it's like, well, everyone in the town does it. So if I don't do it, people know that.
Even now, though, is that?
Yeah, it's still a thing in small towns, especially in the South.
Okay,
I'd be shocked if that was still a thing.
Either way, if
you're from a small town, sound off in the comments.
Either way,
whether the
interaction was something that is actually happening or not, where a pastor goes to, because I was just like, well, yeah, she's in her right to be like, yeah, I don't care, I'm not a believer, like, why are you coming to my house and like preaching to me,
right?
But the either way you see that point, his point was just like, hey, you're rubbing people the wrong way.
Right.
And granted, maybe he's not in the right. I mean, I do agree with her. She's in her right to buy a billboard. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think the priest was right to be like, yeah, you need to take these down. I took a poll of the 12 people. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
But then the ensuing soapbox moment that this woman had, where she basically gets up on this and she starts referencing, I mean, and this is like, I'm just picturing these people in LA writing this movie being like, yeah, and all these laws that are getting passed in LA. This is literally what she says. Those laws that are getting passed in LA, that if you're part of the Bloods or the Crips, that you can that you can get associated with whatever. And I'm like, dog. And then she starts saying, oh, it's the same thing as the church. If your people are doing this, then you should be associated with that. And I'm like, you clearly haven't thought about this at all.
Her implication is, first of all, that there's a law in and I don't know if this is real, but if it is, I don't think this is a good law. That basically like, if you're in a gang and there's a gang shooting, even if you were nowhere near, you have a perfect alibi, you had nothing to do with it, you could get arrested for accessory to that. And like, okay, that doesn't seem legal. Like, even if you were a part of the gang, which I don't know if it's technically illegal to be a member of a gang if you're not actually.
I don't know how the gang laws works, but
however, to say that, it's like saying, the Walmart CEO murdered someone. Hey, you're a Walmart employee. You're guilty. Like, what?
Yeah, well, and this is me talking with limited gang knowledge, but for the most part, those are I think that most people would say that the Bloods and the Crips are pretty violent gangs.
Yeah.
Am I out of line to say that? And so it's different than.
But even in that case, I would say personally, like, okay, you got Blood A and Blood B. Blood B is on vacation in Tahiti.
Yeah.
Blood A goes and shoots up a bodega.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, we arrested Blood A, and Blood B, you're also going to go to jail because you're part of the gang. Like, that's ridiculous.
This is where it's like, regardless of whether that law is a real thing or not.
It's guilt by association, which is just a bad thing. I mean,
yeah.
But the thing is, that's how the system, that's how they put the system. It's a very Marxist thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, you're guilty because you're white. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? You're guilty by association, or you're guilty because you're a man.
Right.
Right? Or you're guilty because whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Right, and it
and
comes both ways.
I'm sure the intention of the movie was to take a very fragment of maybe potentially a real law that was passed. Are you looking it up?
I just looked it up.
Okay.
I just did a quick ChatGPT.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't go super far into it, but it doesn't say anything. There's so TLDR, no state has a law where one gang member commits a crime equals everyone in the gang is guilty. There is no law on the book on
I'm
any
sure
state.
they were taking a
However,
very small fragment and then blowing it
My
up.
assumption of how this probably is there is a random law passed somewhere that is so not even close to that, but they're really stretching it because that's how all these lawmakers.
Is. I mean, politics is you pass something and they go, so this is what that means. So you want to take away every woman's right ever, and
probably,
it's like, no,
you
that's
know what
not
it was?
what it means.
You know what it was? It's probably a law that states that the individual, committing the crime is guilty and nobody else is, but they call it guilty by association law or something. And it's like, okay,
you know
come on.
You know what it probably is? It probably is like if it's gang related, then they can bring you up on RICO charges or something like that. Like they can bring gang related. Like if there's
like a gang shooting and
certain
you're all
that they
there,
are wrong about that. If there's a lawyer listening, let us know because that sounds very legally iffy to me. But anyways, the point is like, and so she basically says, oh, well, the Catholic Church had some serious problems with child abuse, which they did.
Sure, yeah,
absolutely. Does that mean every priest is guilty? That's ridiculous.
Not.
Like that's just ridiculous.
So anyway, so she gets up on her moral high horse and says this, just like, I don't know, it was just the silliest thing. So preaches towards him and then he walks out with his tail between his legs.
Because he's a white man, so he's evil.
Yeah. Literally every white dude in this movie.
I thought it was going to find out they were going to solve the mystery and it was going to be him.
It would not have shocked me. It was another white guy. Go figure. So then it continues on to the dentist scene, which is another egregious act of lawlessness that just takes place in the.
I will say, very partially in her credit, the framing was.
Oh yeah,
he was going to mess
that's
her
what
up.
I meant. Yeah, not on. To be honest, not even on her part.
Yeah.
On the part of there's a dentist who's unhappy with billboards, and he's going, "All right, let me just start drilling into your mouth with no Novocaine." And she's like, "You're gonna Novocaine me, right?" And he's like, puts it. I'm like, who is this practicing doctor? And then he like gives her Novocaine. He's like, wait like 2-3 minutes, and he sits around
10 seconds,
and then 10 seconds. He goes, okay, and then she just grabs the drill and stabs it into his thumb. And I'm like, all right, that whole interaction, legally, non-legally, she's fine to do that to this psycho that was going to start drilling.
You can definitely argue about self-defense.
Yeah, and then of course, it's just like, well, my word against his, and it's just the same as all of these rape charges that happen, except for now the chick is the one getting away with it, and I'm like, all right, this is dumb, dude. It's so exhausting. It
so really
exhausting.
Is.
Nobody wants that to happen, but like, what do you like? What's the answer? Is just to be like, yep. I'm just gonna randomly believe you. Like if it is one of those situations, like that's an area that can't be solved by some quippy little, I don't know, moment where you stab some guy in the thumb and like
teach men not to rape.
It's just
because otherwise, how would they know it's wrong?
You gotta stab them in the thumb with drills.
For real.
And then they'll be better.
It's just so exhausting.
Yeah. So
okay, so dentist.
Yep, dentist.
And then the next major thing I feel like. What's the next major thing? The next major thing I think is the suicide.
Yeah. There's you get some character development.
So actually, this is an important scene. We do find out like pretty early, that Chief Willie Harrison's character does have cancer.
Yeah, he does have cancer.
It's terminal cancer. He gets terminally canceled because he's a white man.
He's canceled.
He's canceled.
Deported.
He's homophobic.
Deported.
Anyways, where's my sombrero? We need a sombrero in the studio. Anyways, she gets taken to the police station. And this was, I actually thought was a good scene. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is like the one time where I thought, Mildred, I thought was like, actually.
Yeah, she had a heart.
Okay, yeah. Because he's interrogating her. They're having the whole back and forth. She's being really snarky and just being a butthole. And then he coughs blood on her.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And you can see, and the actress does a really good job.
It is a very good moment.
You can
of
see
acting.
that suddenly she's like,
she's
I'm going to go.
She's got
she's
compassion.
like, I know
she
it
wants
wasn't
to
your
take
fault.
care of him.
Yeah. Instantly, you realize that she's not mad at him specifically.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything with that.
They don't do anything with virtually anything, including the biggest piece of character development, which is the Dallas, whatever his name is, or Jason Dallas,
Yeah.
or
Jason Dixon.
not Dallas.
Yeah,
Jason
but we'll
Dixon.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So that happens. He gets taken to the hospital, and then I think the next major thing that happens is his suicide.
Yeah. He kills himself.
Yeah, and he kills himself, and he leaves a letter explaining, like, to his wife, I didn't want you to. It's the noble suicide, which
whatever.
is
It's silly.
But the thing is, it's like a left thing, like, oh, die with dignity. It's like,
No, it's obvious. Like, he's like, this isn't selfish, and I'm like, dog, you just left your wife with 2 kids. Like, yes, we know you had cancer, but
it's like, oh,
that's
it'll
the
be
whole-
harder for you to suffer with me.
It's
Like,
the whole
no.
idea of when you see those kids fighting cancer. It's why it's so inspirational. It's just why you encourage them. It's why we have whole programs that are supporting that. Is because you know it's hard. Like that's the hardest crap you'll ever have to do, and it's not fair because there's nothing. There's no cancer just happens. And you're like, hey, this isn't fair to you. It's not fair that you're going to have to suffer through this. But, man, the fact that you're doing that, it's so inspirational. And then we have a person that's just like, hey, it's going to be really gross, so here, I'm just going to kill myself. And, like, again, I'm not going to put it on the movie. I don't know. I don't think the movie is necessarily supposed to be painting him. I think that
was the impression that I got, at least from his letter.
The problem is that he's really charming because he's Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
And so he does a suicide note, and you're like, oh, Woody Harrelson. Like, yeah, you're good, man. You're good. Because he's just like, Mildred, I'm sorry I left you alone. People are going to get mad at you, but ha, ha, ha. I'm going to buy the billboards.
I hope
and
they don't kill you.
And I'm like, all right, well, I don't care why you did it anymore. You're Woody Harrelson, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So he kills himself.
Yes.
The Dixon loses his mind.
And he loses his mind, and that's when he goes up into the advertising store, beats Red up, and tosses him out the window in full sight of everyone.
Yeah,
punches the girl,
including the new chief of police.
Walks in the next room, punches the girl in the face, walks down, and just starts kicking the shit out of Red.
Yeah,
and then walks into the police station. The new black police chief sees this and then walks in and then is like, your gun and your badge.
No, but the thing is, it was like a day later that he does that.
Yeah,
because you don't realize that he's the new chief, and then a day later he strolls in.
Yeah. So and then he's like, your gun and your badge, and so Dixon like falls off the deep end. But then he gets a letter that
so I have a lot to say about this part. So
yeah. So then he gets so at some point the billboards get lit on fire.
Yes.
We forgot to mention that Charlie, her ex-husband, comes back.
So the husband
to tell her to take the billboards.
The husband had left her for a 19-year-old, and this is purely a comedy. Again, it's one of these tone things where randomly she's just inserted to be like, he's like left her for a 19-year-old, and there's this gag that she worked at the zoo, and every time she speaks, she's just literally like, I don't even know what that word is, and I was working at the zoo, but then they no longer am working at the zoo, and blah, and she's just walking around being an idiot the whole time.
The whole point of her is to
be an idiot. Like and so he comes back. Yep, he basically tells her, "Hey, you should take down the signs." He almost starts to beat her again. The son pulls out a knife and holds him off. And again, this moment is interrupted by comedy by the girl walking in to the son holding the knife, and she's like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" They're like, "Yeah."
She didn't actually have a southern accent.
I don't know. It was just Anyways, okay. Then we get to
so then we get to Dixon
reading his letter.
Yeah. So Dixon gets a call from the police station, and the guy says, Willoughby left you a letter, but you should come in after hours to read it because there's like a lot of people there. You shouldn't come in right now. So Willoughby goes there after hours. Just so happens that that's when Mildred decided to firebomb the police station. Yeah. So he reads this letter, and it's Willoughby saying, "You could be a good detective, but you have to stop being so angry." Literally, I mean,
and that letter heals him.
The thing is, it's a good letter. Like he's like, hey, you could be a good detective. You're just so angry about your dad and all this other stuff. Like you have to let that go before you can actually be a good detective.
Yeah, it's an encouraging letter from what I imagine is a father figure to him.
Very much so.
And it's very simple. There's no deep revelation. He's just kind of like, you've been a little angry because you're dead, so you should stop. You should start to love more because love can make you a good detective. And he's just instantly like, all right, I guess. And then from that point on, he is like a healed person. And like, again, I get what they're trying to do, and I think that that's a good letter, but that should have taken a lot longer. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost silly to me that he's just
turning
like,
on a light switch.
oh, I'm no longer a racist, and all these other horrible things. I no longer throw people out windows that I don't like. And he just, but at that point, he's like, I'm gonna save the.
Well, okay. So I think it was a little more than that too. So he while he's reading this letter, he's got his headphones in. So this is why he doesn't hear it. The Mildred is chucking Molotovs at the fire station, which apparently doesn't have a back door, and so Dixon turns around. Everything's on fire. And so he grabs the file for Mildred's daughter, tucks it under his shirt, and then dives to the fire. And now, was he covered in gasoline? Because I don't think dumping through a bit of fire would light him on fire like
Correct.
that.
But
that was
the
weird.
laws of fire doesn't
granted,
compute for that.
I would say that
Either way.
I would say that the result on the back end, his burns seemed sufficient. Although there was this moment where he first jumps through the fire that he's like physically on fire everywhere, and they have to put him out. And I'm like, that seemed a bit quick. I think
so.
You would just burn.
Also,
I don't know.
Side note, can we question why Peter Dinklage was there?
He was
just walking around the street.
Did he just show up and leave? Like that's the one character who just showed up and then he had some. You're like, oh, there's gonna be. Oh no, he's gone.
Yeah, no, I just never understood.
Just to have another thing to make fun of. To be
it's
like,
a small
hey,
fire. He was just walking on the street. He just happened to be there at the time.
I thought you meant like in the movie. Period. But
No. On
his character
in the scene
when he
he's
jumps
coming out of like he comes out of a door.
He's like walking out of the
coming
bar.
out of a door.
Right,
and he sees
he
this
was
guy
just
burning.
he was just like walking home in it.
I don't know.
Walking home in the middle. Okay, that's fine. It just nobody else in the entire town is outside.
Apparently not.
Well,
it is. I will say it's unclear what time it is.
The thing is, okay, cool. Nobody is out there watching this entire building go up in a blaze.
I can tell you exactly why it is. It's because like the movie was just driving the point home. That's like, look at all these people you're angry at that are being nice to you. Because then it happens again with Red. Red that is like, hey, have some orange juice.
Yeah. So anyways, Peter Dinklage uses his jacket to put out Dixon, then flips over and realizes it's Dixon who was being a dick to him earlier.
Yeah.
Dixon goes to the hospital, is completely bandaged head to toe because of the burns. Gets put in the same ward as Red,
of course.
And Red's like, hey, buddy, don't worry. You're gonna be okay. Let me get you a cup of orange juice. And then Dixon says, I'm sorry, Red. Red's like, do I know you? He's like, I'm sorry, I threw out your window. And Dixon's like, Red's like, angry, but then still gives him a glass of orange juice because Red's a good guy. And those things combined, Dixon's like, oh, I've been an asshole. I need to do something different. So it's for a movie. I think it's fine for him to turn the page. In real life, maybe not. But in the movie, I think it does what it needed to do.
Sure.
But then what happens after that is like, okay, so the next major thing that happens, and of course, Mildred firebombs the station, and then Peter Dinklage is like, yeah, we were on a date for sure, definitely. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Because it was implied that he liked her earlier.
Yeah.
So the next big thing.
The next big thing is
that
the bar.
Yeah, he basically Dixon.
Yeah. Dixon is drinking.
This is the
I will say,
silliest amount of coincidence you'll ever see in a movie.
Okay, I will say, so in the letter that Willoughby leaves, we forgot something. At some point, before the station firebombing, Mildred is in her little antique shop.
Yeah, and this angry
and some
white dude.
random dude walks in and starts like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know who that was.
Just a friend
he's the
of
guy
Willoughby?
for the end.
Who?
He's the rapist at the end. You guys didn't know that?
Is he?
That's the same guy.
No.
Yes,
was it?
It is.
No.
Yes, that is 100%. So the guy that throws the kitty cat thing is the same guy that gets into the bar that Dixon finds out. Yes, 100%. Yes, it's that guy.
Either way, but what was he doing?
Exactly. I have the same question.
There's like a
even
really
knowing
weird
that,
scene where this guy just randomly comes in and starts
mean,
threatening,
and then he walks out.
Anyways, but so she's reading a letter from Willoughby, and Willoughby says, sometimes someone says something like, let something slip in jail or in a bar. Or
He's
something
like, I'm sure it'll happen that somebody will brag
I hope it happens
about
for you.
this.
Someone brags about it.
Yeah.
So Dixon is sitting in the bar drinking a beer where two guys pull up in the booth. Apparently, one of them is this douchebag.
Yep.
And the guy's literally like, "Remember that time I raped someone and then lit them on fire?" And you're like, "What, bro? What?"
Dude, it was.
And Dixon's like, "Oh my gosh, it's the guy." And so Dixon intentionally. Now Dixon did a good job.
Yeah.
He intentionally gets in a fight and scratches the guy, and then gets the DNA and brings it to the police station.
Yeah.
And he goes to the chief's office, and the chief is like, "You did good, Dixon, but he's not the guy. He doesn't match any known crimes." And so Dixon's like, "But he did something." And the chief is like, "We know, but he was out of the country."
And then
another comedy scene,
another
where he's
tone
like,
moment.
where he's like, he was in another country, and it's classified. I can't tell you where it was. And Dixon's like, "You can't tell me where it was." He's like,
There's a lot
Dixon,
of sand.
"It was classified. Where are we at war right now? There's a lot of sand." And Dixon just doesn't get it because he's so thick.
He's so dumb. So they try.
But like, so it's like the coincidence that someone else who also raped someone and then burned them alive just so happened to be there and bragging about it.
yeah,
And it's like,
that
what
was
on earth?
so
Yeah.
silly to
I
me.
just looked up. Sorry, I was ChatGPT. Sometimes you really gotta give it. You really gotta like spoon feed that thing. But anyways, no, they're not the same person. It's not the same.
It is the same guy.
No.
100%.
I'm gonna reconfirm that with some images and stuff like that. But it's not.
I'll stake my status on the show that is the same guy.
Can Jakob demote you lower? You're already the
Jakob.
peon.
Jakob, bring it on. I'm feeling ballsy. I'm turning 33 tomorrow.
All right, let's see.
Um,
I'm gonna look this
But
up.
anyways, so the movie,
Yeah. So the movie ends with Dixon because Dixon goes to Mildred and says, "I don't want to get your hopes up," but tells her the story. "I got his DNA." Da da da. Then
Mildred
calls
thanks him. So there's some
Yeah.
restoration.
So there's a little bit of
relationship.
reconciliation there. So she finally, Dixon finds out, calls her, and says, "Yeah, so it wasn't the guy." And Mildred's like, "It's okay. Thank you. Thank you anyways." And he says, "Well, he wasn't the rapist, but he was a rapist, and he lives in Idaho." And Mildred's like, "Oh, coincidentally, I'm going to Idaho. You want some company?" "Sure." So they load up like a shotgun in the car, and they're driving away
with trail mix.
and they're driving away. And Mildred says, "You sure about killing this guy?" He's like, "Not really." "What about you?" "Not really. I guess we'll make our decision as we go along." And that's the end of the movie. I'm like, what the hell was that movie?
Yeah. So I think the movie was leaning towards a message that I thought wasn't bad. I mean, it was basically
Don't rape and murder people?
No.
That's a pretty good
So
message.
and ironically, they use the 19-year-old girlfriend to convey this message where she's like, "Hate begets hate," and she says that, and it's like kind of this big moment for Mildred because Mildred's about to like get angry at her ex again because he kind of interrupts a date that she was having with Peter Dinklage. With Peter Dinklage just like disappears after that,
vanishes.
never see him again.
Completely useless.
So and if you were looking at the movie through that lens, it's that there are characters that are holding on to hate, and in return, like Mildred, obviously there's this demonstration of hate that happens to her daughter. It's awful, horrible crime, and as a response, she's just getting angry at everybody, and ends up affecting the wrong people. That the police chief is actually a solid dude. She gets him so much attention that he doesn't kill himself because of her, but he's got cancer and he's doing his best. He explains it to her. He's like, "Listen, we have done everything we can. We can't do these things you're suggesting. That's wild." And he kills himself. And then there's his, one of his deputies that is got all kinds of family problems, and that's why he's racist and angry and shooting people and committing awful crimes and randomly just we're okay with that. And so there's this kind of theme of like, hey, we've got to give that up. And here we've got Red, who has been wrongly hurt, and then he said, "Hey, I've got this opportunity to be still pissed at Dixon, who's sitting in here, but Dixon just apologized to me, and so I'm going to give him this orange juice and be like, okay, whatever. It's like an olive branch." We have Peter Dinklage putting Dixon out, although he didn't know it was Dixon, but there's like kind of that theme. And then you have Mildred, who you think is going to follow this line, and then the end of the movie is just like, "Hey, let's go kill some dude." And I'm like, dog, like, murder is like, I know you're like, hey, it's justified, whatever. You're still going to go and shoot something. Like, you're going to, and we'll talk about this again in the next movie we watch and we talk about, because that's a whole other thing. But that is really bad for you. Like doing that, even in, you talk to soldiers that are doing this for a really good cause, they still have huge problems. Like it's a really and we're talking about this as the main theme that's a solution to a problem in the movie. Like, yeah, it's a good, yeah, go and do this. I don't know. I felt like the theme was all over the place and it didn't land.
It was bad.
Which
Which leads me to my
nauseating.
last segment, which is the final thoughts. And I'll start it. By the way, I couldn't find pictures that would associate, but everywhere I've
Fair.
looked, on
Oh, we talked
Reddit,
about this movie
on
way longer than I
ChatGPT,
thought.
this, that, and the other, they're not the same character.
I don't think they were.
Anyways.
that guy was.
They
Yeah,
are.
so anyways,
random
anyways,
dude.
we'll confirm it and put
And
it
the
in the
next
comments.
show-
Yeah, we'll confirm it or something. Anyways, final thoughts on my end.
It's already
Ass.
1:17 p.m. Yeah, I agree.
That's ultimately
Yeah,
nothing good about it, except, like I said, in my opinion, the only redeeming quality of this movie was the fact that the score or the soundtrack was pretty good. That's my style
It's
of
not
music,
worth watching
though.
for the music. So
It's not. It's really not. And so that's my final thoughts. Who's next?
Yeah, really. There's not even a theme that you can pull from it that's legible. Like, you can't even find a childish level theme from it. It is nauseating in the amount of social commentary that it shoves down your throat. I mean, to the point of comedy, to the point of like, now
Almost
it's a
like
black guy,
parody.
a
It's
short
almost
guy,
parodic.
a gay guy, wife beating, raping, suicide. All of the things shoved into a movie that tone-wise pulls you into comedy half the time. It's awful. Like, in my opinion, there is no direction with a movie like this. It felt like a bunch of people in Hollywood going, yeah, we're gonna write about small town America, and this is what it's like. Everybody's just a moron. Everybody's stupid. There's no law. Everybody hates everybody except for the minority characters and the women. They're all good.
Yep. That's
They're all
pretty
fine.
much it.
So nauseating movie to watch with a ridiculously bad scene with a deer that you just are baffled. Like, that made me so happy that I'm like, you morons. You had this movie that you're just pampering yourself with, and then you're like, then we'll have a deer walk up, and she'll be like, you're beautiful, but you're not my daughter. And this CGI deer looks like a
CGI
Windows
deer.
7 screensaver that's just like, and then just
It was pretty bad.
it's so bad, and like, oh man, it made me so happy that such a terrible thing just accented this horrible movie.
It
Very
almost-
bad movie.
It was almost sorry. I don't want to cut you off here, but it was almost the idea. It was so bad that it almost looked like it was a figment of her imagination, and she was just imagining it.
She was insane.
So like that was the,
She was
it was
talking to
that
her
bad.
slippers.
It was that bad. It was almost like a halo around it. Anyways, final thought.
Yeah, this was one of those movies, kind of like Old Boy, where I was like, what was I supposed to get out of that movie besides misery?
It was a miserable movie.
What am I learning from this movie? And I really feel like that whoever wrote the movie saw the Pocahontas meme, like, these white men are dangerous. I was like, can I make a whole movie out of that?
These white men are dangerous.
I was like, okay, cool.
It was
just like, it was just miserable to watch.
Yeah.
Miserable to watch.
Yeah.
Not worth watching. Not worth watching again. There's just nothing to get out of it. There's so little. There's so little that I can extract and be like, oh, you know, this is worth talking about. There's just nothing there.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
All right. Rate these fives.
You want to
Mr.
do it?
Gregory, you're
Yeah.
the one that did the synopsis, so you are it. Rate,
5 woke
rate
movies.
these five.
Give it to me. Hit
Rate
me.
these 5 marketing tactics that actually work on you.
Oh, interesting.
Number 1 being the most, that it
It
actually
works on
works,
me?
and number
Okay.
5 that it
Okay.
never works.
Fast food.
All right, number 1. Number 1, for the purpose of the movie, billboards.
I'm gonna go with. There are probably worse marketing tactics because I actually at least see billboards. There are probably some that I just don't like that I'm gonna have a 0% interaction with. So
Fair.
I'll give it 4.
4, okay.
I would agree with that.
But yeah, it's
right.
never convinced me to do something. Although I laugh a couple times.
Yes, yes.
Your wife is hot.
It's so good.
Call your AC unit.
So good. Side note, on an unrelated note, I actually met that guy, the guy who created the billboards down in West Palm.
Florida, there's in
Yeah.
West Palm. There's these billboards with like a really sexy mom, and it's like your wife's hot,
And it's
then
an implication
like,
of
call us to cool
yeah.
her off.
So,
or
so
something.
at this
ACs.
men's retreat, I was talking with one of the older guys. His son apparently is in all the Morris Jenkins commercials.
That's so funny. That's so
Like,
funny.
yeah, you actually probably seen him if you ever watched the Morris Jenkins commercial. I
That's
was
so
like,
funny.
I probably have seen your son.
All right.
All right, number 2 on the list, targeted ads, meaning like if you're on social media or whatever, and it like you looked up something recently, and now it's targeting you on your ad because of something.
Yeah,
that you
those
previously
are
did.
pretty solid. I mean, would that include like Instagram ads? Because I feel like I've bought clothes off of Instagram before.
Then
Then
you-
that's
I'm
then
gonna put
that
it
would
as
be
number
it.
one.
Number
like
one on you?
that's the number one. Like,
Okay.
yeah, because it's literally like,
I'm gonna be honest.
hey, were you looking at blinds today? I'm like, yes, I was. I was like, how about these that are on discount?
That's
I'm like,
exactly
sure,
what
I'll
that's
buy
100%
those.
what targeted ads are.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
That's actually a 5 for me because I'm not on any social media.
Fair enough. You know,
and
that's fair.
And I have YouTube Premium, so I don't actually see ads on YouTube either.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So
Number one for me.
Your next one, TV commercials.
TV commercials are effectively neutral. I'm going to give them 3 for the most part. I'm
I've
just
put them at 3 as well.
I'm just turning my brain off.
I'm about to put myself as infomercials at number 1. Put
That's
myself
so
in that
funny.
spot.
All right, next one, product placements in movies, which I find the most hilarious.
Oh,
out
it's
of the ones.
hilarious.
It'll be like
That is funny.
It's like the what was it?
and I would say-
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
A nice Pepsi.
I'm gonna put that at 5 just because it in no way affects me when
Okay.
when in Transformers he's driving a Camaro and I'm like, I
don't even notice that.
care at all.
Yeah. Which leaves your
I
number
guess I have to put
2
that
item.
as I have to put that at 2 for me. So
That's
what's my
so
number
funny.
1?
Your number
What's my
your number
one?
2 is the old buy X get one free. So like buy 4 get one free.
Bogos?
You have to buy
That is
5
fair.
of them.
Man, I nailed it.
Yeah,
That's exactly
that's the one that it gets me the most.
BOGO will be number 1 for
God.
me because if something's BOGO, I'm much more likely to buy it.
It gets me every
Yeah.
fucking time.
Well,
It's
like-
literally like I would be like 3 things of ranch, and I'm like, you have to buy 3 to get one free. Yeah, I'll get 4, and it's like, why? Who needs
if it's
4
something that's like
bottles of ranch?
non-perishable, like of course
Yeah.
you do it. Of course you do
That's
it.
the,
Yeah,
but you
that's-
don't need
I think-
4 bottles
no,
of ranch.
you
No,
will,
you
though.
don't. But
You will.
eventually you will. Yeah.
It's just
So,
bad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So I got
that's-
I nailed my number 1. I'm not sure about the TV commercials though.
Yeah. All right. Rotten Tomatoes. We'll do this together this
oh my
time.
gosh.
This is going to be an
I'm-
interesting one. I'm so curious.
So I'm gonna guess Critics is
Critics is
90.
it's like a 90.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess 90 from Critics.
96.
So I want you guys to
I'm
do
gonna
a
say
combined.
95. I'm gonna say 95.
So
I
I'm
think
gonna say
it's
90. So
super
we'll
high.
say 92 and a half.
Nathaniel, you were correct at 90.
Wow.
It's
man.
just bad. Like, okay,
But it's like it's exactly what critics would want.
I know.
Yes,
it's
that is
everything
true.
critics would want.
it's woke. It's
And I bet you the fans are not far behind. I would say the fans are at 87.
Yeah, 85.
Are you going to split the difference?
Sure, say 86.
87.
Ah.
All right, and last but not least, our own rating. I'll start. I wrote it down, and I'm actually going to keep it 18. And the only reason that it's even that high was, like I said, from throughout the entire time, the score was good. That's
Yeah.
it.
I'm gonna say a 22. I think for the elements of like making a movie, if you took out all the really, really, well,
If you remove, you know
the
what?
points that
Let's
matter.
go. Let's see if Sora can redo this movie and just take all the characters out, so you just sing the shots
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
music.
It-
Like,
it-
this is nice.
other than the CGI deer, if all of the characters just said different things, it wouldn't look like a bad movie.
So
and
what
the
you're
acting
saying-
wasn't bad. The acting
You know,
wasn't
if
bad.
Hitler hadn't invaded Poland, he would have been a pretty good guy.
The acting wasn't bad, and the look of it wasn't bad. All of the things that the character said in the message of the movie were absolutely horrendous. So, like, I'm going to give it a 22 just because it could have been so much worse. It could have also been filmed
Also
terribly
filmed
and been
terribly.
acted
That's
terribly.
true.
Oh,
So,
you
like,
mean like Natural Born Killers?
yeah, I'm still a 22. Like, it is a horrible movie,
absolutely,
but yes.
absolutely.
I'll split the
Nathaniel?
difference and go 20. Like
20?
just abysmal.
such
Nothing,
more-
nothing redeemable. But it was like it was inoffensively shot and had a good score.
Do you-
So 2 points out of 10.
Do you have our other ratings there?
Not on me.
Okay.
I have to go back and,
That's fine.
and
We-
when
we
we
do
do
it.
it, but I do
That'll
have
be
a good.
We should do that for a Christmas special.
We
Countdown
will.
for-
We will. I
and see
have
if
it
our
all. I
opinions
have
have
it all.
changed. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Documented and everything. I just got to
Sure.
put it into the thing.
That'd be
So,
fun.
moving on to our next movie, Murder on the Orient Express.
Mr. Vladimir Da.
All right,
Roma.
you're
So
up,
here is
Nathaniel.
Yes, give me
again,
the
just to
timer.
recap, a random number generated between 10 and 30, 10 seconds and 30 seconds. The number that ChatGPT gave me is 12, which honestly you don't
Before
even
I
need.
get into this is a murder mystery, which I'm going to spoil in this 12 seconds. So if you care to not be spoiled,
Skip
you
ahead
need to,
by
well, just you need to not
30 seconds or
because we're
something.
going to have to talk about the ending. So you need to just stop the podcast and come back later in an hour. Okay. So if you care,
all right.
it's one of the most famous murder mystery twists. So you might have already heard. All right.
Anyways, are you ready, sir?
Yes.
12 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
A guy is murdered on a train. Hercule Poirot tries to solve the mystery. Comes up with two solutions. One, there was a mystery assassin. Two, all the other 12 passengers murdered him together because he was a bad man, and that's what happened.
Man, that was actually real solid, dude.
That was a good one. That's
I
mean,
also
honestly,
hope that the audience heard how silly this movie was in that.
Yeah. Okay.
This movie.
Initial thoughts. I will start, and I think this is going to likely be one of the last things I say about it because I don't have a ton to say.
Don't worry, I got you, fam.
I felt the way that I felt watching this movie is as if someone that you know is telling you a very elaborate story, and at the end, you're so spaced out that you don't care about it, and the only reason why you know that the story is done is because there's an awkward silence at the end. That's exactly how I felt watching this movie. There was nothing to grasp me into this movie.
It was a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
I could not get interested in this movie. There was not a single thing in this movie, in my opinion, that just captivated me enough to pay attention so much so that I was like, okay, this scene or that scene, or there was nothing. It was just
I really just hated the
gobbledygook.
ending.
I hated the movie overall. Be honest.
I thought it was a fine murder mystery whodunit, which is like, as far as a genre, I actually think this is an easy genre for most people. You just don't blow the ending. It's an easy
Glass onion.
It's an easy genre because it's like it captivates you. You're at least sitting there going, "Oh yeah, that's right. What happened with that?" And oh, we think it's this for sure. And oh, that's weird because if that happens, then that doesn't make any sense. How could the killer be here and here at the same time? So there's these things that just draw you in naturally to something like that. And so they're never like my favorite movies ever, but that genre is fine. The conclusion to this movie, I thought, and I'll dig into it later, I thought on so many levels was so unbelievably silly. From like every aspect of movie making, from like how it was shown, from like the way that they wrote it, from the characters, and from the conclusion, all of that, it was just awful. So that's what I thought.
Yeah, it was. So I read the book. It was an atrocious adaptation. They butchered every character, especially Hercule Poirot. Like, God, man. They annihilated his character and completely. See, the thing is, the ending in the book is functionally the same ending, but it works in the book and it does not work in this movie, and we'll talk about why. And I also watched the 1974 movie, which I will also reference, because it's a much more faithful adaptation to the books. It's definitely worth a watch. It was actually quite good.
All right, Marco, where are we starting? You start us with a story because there's not much of a score. So, the cinematography is all CGI. They're on a weird train all the time.
Yeah, the only scene that I was like, that's actually a really good visually appealing scene was when he had his little monologue, and then there was like the mountains in the background, and it was looking through the tunnel at him, and it had the mountains in the background with the train that was on the visually speaking. I thought that was a very pleasing to the eye look. Outside of that, kind of just there. I don't know.
It was so CGI.
Yeah, there was a lot of CGI.
It was like the Murder on the Polar Express.
Yes,
that's what you should call it.
Literally. Murder on the Polar Express. You got Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. You see the little stapler, and he's like, and then it peels back, and he's just killed the person. he's full of holes.
He's looking through the suspects. He's looking through the suspects, and then it's just a polar bear with a Coca-Cola.
He takes the ticket. He takes the ticket. You're the murderer. What?
It did though. Like the feel of the movie for sure was like so CGI to the point of yes, it did very much feel
it
like
was comical.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily like. Again, when you have a movie that is 100% like CGI, it's not as like it doesn't affect you as much as like, hey, this is all shot normally and then there's a CGI deer. This was just clearly all shot like in a studio, like in a green screen studio. So But there's little to say about the cinematography. It's all just computer,
Sky Captain
whatever.
and the Murder on the Orient Express.
It's just all kind of it's all generated. The music is non-existent. There's not really much of a score.
I don't remember any music at all.
So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Some generic
It's not a movie about the cinematography of the music. So.
No, it's not. It's really not.
It's
It's really not about the characters either. It's a whodunit. So it's about the story.
So let's dive into
Yeah.
the story.
So, to be honest, it's a classic whodunit in the sense that Hercule Poirot is not supposed to be on this train.
No.
He had finished solving a mystery and is taking a hiatus and is like, he gets his buddy to let him onto his train. His buddy owns this train, and his buddy's just, at least in this depiction, is a young guy who's just kind of reckless and wild, but he's a good friend of Poirot. So he's like, yeah, you can get a spot on my train. So he gets a spot on this like really nice fancy train. It kind of feels like a cruise, where you got everybody in these quarters. There's drinks and food, and you're meeting all these interesting characters, and then one of them gets murdered. And the idea is that you have the greatest detective in the world on the train, and so now it gets interesting. I felt like that part was interesting, like I mentioned. Like, that premise is interesting. Hey, he's here. He wasn't supposed to be here. And this thing happens in front of him. Now he's putting it all together. You get to see how he operates and how he does things. It was kind of like him putting the pieces together. There are several points where I wished he would have dug more into certain things, and you're kind of like, you're waiting for something really. You're like, oh, he's going to figure this out in a really creative way, and then he just kind of jumps on to the next thing. He sits down with a lot of the inmates.
The inmates.
He sits down with a lot of the passengers, and he's kind of getting their backstory, their motivation, understanding them a bit. There are a few of them that are good. I would put the peak of it being Willem Dafoe. He's just excellent in everything he does.
He's a great actor.
He's just like, so he's acting like this stuck up German
racist guy.
racist like professor, but in reality he's an old cop. Like, he used to be a cop, and Poirot calls him out on it, and so he kind of has to break character. But that's, other than him, all of them are super just vanilla characters.
Yeah.
None of them are interesting. They're all super silly. Some of which are like, you swear there's more they're going to dig into, but they're not like the couple, like the one couple where like the girl's a sick dancer and her boyfriend is just like
the angry guy
and
with like
beating
crazy
people up.
martial arts.
Yeah,
like, what the hell was that?
you don't really explain it or anything. But anyways, you're any time that I would say, if the good part about these movies is they will keep your attention. The bad part is they all hinge on the end. If the ending is bad, then you're gonna be like, the whole movie was dumb because you just let me. I sat there going, okay, keep feeding me, keep eating. I want to see the end, and then you gave me that. I'm even more angry now. So the ending was just, I mean, it's incredibly silly. Like, and if we can jump into that, and then I know Nathaniel has a more interesting things to say about this than I do, so I'll just kind of get my sense and then let him take over. But
So just a quick, sorry, I just got a quick question for you. Did you know the ending before watching the movie?
not the first time. This is the second time I had watched it. The first time I watched it was when it came out in 2017, so almost 10 years ago, and I only remembered the ending. I only remembered that I remember that ending because it's so dumb. And I was like, the rest of the movie, it tricked me again because I was like, ooh, there we go. And I was like, and then the ending came and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I remembered. That's why I hated this movie. So the ending is this guy has been stabbed multiple times, and the idea is that this guy is just such a horrible dude that all of these people have been wronged by him in some way or another, and they all collaborated to drug him so that they could all stab him together in a stabbing party. And it is the silliest, most ridiculous thing you've ever seen put on screen. I mean,
did you like The Last Supper?
Yeah. God.
So he's like approaching the tunnel, and they're all sitting behind this super long table, and it's 12. So it is literally The Last Supper with who played the Hubbard?
Woman,
who played her?
The woman who
I know Dame Judi Dench played the old lady. Which, by the way, in the book, the old lady is described as like hideously ugly. Like, so ugly she looks. They keep describing her as like a yellow toad. And like Dame Judi Dench is very old, but she's not ugly.
Well, so the movie, the movie is drawing you in to understand how bad this guy was that was killed, and so Hercule Poirot again gives his conclusion, like Nathaniel said, where he's like, "Oh, there's one solution where there's just a rogue guy came on the train, killed this guy, and he got off." He's like, "But the other one is that all of you guys were hurt together, and he explains how each of them were connected to this guy. You were hurt because you knew this person that was wrong about him. And then you guys together collaborated and came in, drugged him, and then we're going to depict this scene. And now this is the filmmaking aspect of how this ending was carried out. We're going to play soft piano music and in black and white show. We're like, don't show it.
As 12 people walk into a tiny compartment.
Oh, that was
How
the
did they
funniest-
fit in there? I was like, they just kept, it was like a clown
There
car. They just kept
are-
piling in. I was like, hello? Have you ever been in a train?
Yeah. This is why it works better as a book. If you're going to describe that, that's one thing. And that's already got enough problems, and we can talk about that. But if you're going to show it, the answer is you don't show it. You just say it. You just go, this is what you did. You all stabbed him. Okay, cool. We can address it. No, now we're going to show you. It's as silly as you think it would look. A guy laying on a bed in a tiny little car and 12 people all pressed up against each other being like, and mind you, they're crying in black and white with piano music going, and then the next one pushes through and he's like, and 12 people, and the piano just keeps playing, and I'm like, what am I?
The scene took forever.
Dude,
it was agonizing.
So silly. Like, and again, that's just the one aspect of showing it. Like, you could, it's still a silly thing, and we'll talk about that. But the depiction of how they were going to show it carried out was awful. I mean, to the point of comedy. I mean, it was so bad. So now let's talk about why the stabbing party is just a silly idea on his
Stabbing
face.
party.
So Nathaniel, again, he'll have some much more interesting things because he shared this with me, and it makes this a little more interesting. However, again, how it's depicted.
Yeah, just
in
talk
the-
about what
in-
talk
yes.
about what's in the movie.
In the movie, you could think of a million different ways that could happen. that would not be like we each need to go and stab him because this one woman who kind of is the one who's wronged the most, maybe, kind of heads off this whole thing. It's her idea, and she talks about how she brings all these different people together, and she's like, this is my whole plan. You know, I'm going to do this whole thing, and we're going to... and the conclusion being a stabbing party in the first place, and I'm going to continue to call it that, because it's what it is.
It really is what it is.
It like, that's already silly on its face. There could be a million different ways to do that, because... And again, we talk about this, killing somebody, not a great thing
Yeah,
for
not good,
people.
Bob.
Not great for anybody.
Yeah, not
And,
good, Bob.
Like, and to do it with a knife of all things,
Even worse.
I mean, just hey, you're in pain. This guy's hurt you. The solution is to take this sharp piece of metal and to feel it driving into his skin and cutting through his bones and his flesh and his organs, and then pull it out and hand it to another person, and then you'll heal. I'm like, dog. And that leads us into the theme, which is in the message, which is that Hercule Poirot is like, you know what? I don't see any murderers here. You guys just all needed to heal. And I'm like, dog, what?
It
Dog,
was
like,
so bad.
Let me just stop you right there. 'Cause
It
like,
was
I got
so
something to say.
bad.
Like, I would have, if I was a part of the train and like not part of like the 12 in the car, I would have been like, hey, Hercule, one quick word. I got a question. And he'd be like, well, do what to say, Greg. And I'd be like, okay, I'm not super comfortable with 12 people that are just like, hey, we've come to a conclusion that we could stab somebody to death in bed. Just being out there. Because if they get wronged again, why not just go stabbing party another guy?
It was just bad. All of the whole...
If the conclusion is this guy's bad enough, we've all deemed, hey, you don't like him either? Let's just stabbing party? Okay, stabbing party. And that group of people out there, there's horrible things happen in life. And you're going to be like, hey, stabbing party, another guy? Well, this one, how, it's 6'7", you know? Is it that bad?
Okay, that's it. Get out.
I should leave.
Get
I
out.
should leave for that. I'm in the penalty box. Take over.
Okay. So first of all, it was just a terrible adaptation. So it was funny because I read the Murder on the Orient Express, but in the anthology I had, that wasn't the first story. So I went ahead and read the first one. So I actually read both of them, and you get a real good sense of who Hercule Poirot is as a person. He's refined. He's a Belgian gentleman, and so he's very polite. He's not low energy, but he's not like
Posh.
super. Yes, he's very posh, very refined,
Yeah.
very polite. Kenneth Branagh was an asshole.
Yes.
He's just like condescending, a total douchebag, very dismissive. That is not, Poirot is not like that. He's very kind. He's very genteel. He is a little pompous, but in like a he's just refined. You'd be like, oh, well, he's just comes like he's just used to finer things.
Was he a fighter in that one? Because in this one he fights at several points. So
Yeah,
it's silly.
no, they actually.
I imagine
there
not.
is no action in the original in the book or
It
in
just
the
came across as
1974
silly
movie.
in this
It was
movie.
he added a bunch of random ass action scenes which added nothing and were just silly.
He's like hitting
Yeah.
them with his cane, and he's really smart about
And
where
here's
he's.
the so in
Can I-
addition to making him a total dickweed, Hercule Poirot is not Sherlock Holmes. They kept like the whole intro sequence where he's like, "Ooh, this evidence, that evidence, da 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 da." Hercule Poirot is much more about the psychology of the killer. He wants to get in the killer's mind, and he wants to care about motives. Like he has an eye for detail. He does pay attention to stuff like that, but he's not Sherlock Holmes. They made him Sherlock Holmes. He is. I'm going to sit down and think. His whole thing is, I can do more detective work sitting in my chair and thinking than I can actually running around the crime scene. That's his whole thing. So he's much more about, I'm going to go through my thought processes and figure out why would someone do this, who had the motive, who had the means, and figure out how these things happened. That didn't come across. Did you get that impression that he's very much like a getting into the psychology of people?
The only
Yeah,
aspect
so
of that
that's- but that's who- that's
they
his
try
main
to
thing.
do in the movie is that he's like, I need to meet with each of you individually and just talk to you.
Yeah.
And that part is but that's a small portion of the movie. It's not like if that was the larger part of the movie.
That just came across as like him being a detective.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah,
the
that's just
majority
like a
is
normal
him
thing.
going out and being like, what's on this jacket? There's some alcohol here. Oh, we need to talk to this person because he saw this, and we need to connect that. And if
Yeah.
that was there, then the
So-
timing of the death
yeah.
was blah blah.
So in the book, the only like investigating he does is they go into when they find the body, they go in and they check the body. He looks around. He finds the pipe cleaner. He finds the handkerchief, right? And he notices some other things, and that's it. He stops looking for evidence. He then says, "I'm going to interview each person like a detective would," right? And that's pretty much the whole book is him doing the different interviews. And then, there are some things that happen, like the knife is discovered, this is discovered, that other thing, right? But he goes through all the interviews, and then he gathers everyone in the train, and he says, here are my two solutions, right? And he's calm through the whole thing. He's not like super excitable. He's not like angry. He's just like, all right, well, here's what happened.
Yeah, in the movie they depict him several times being like, "This is the strangest case I've ever worked on. I don't know. Like here I am, and I just don't like. I don't know if that was like that in the book, but he's
He's like
in the movie.
He's thinking like, I really don't understand this. He's very open with like something is not adding up.
Yeah.
So and they completely missed this in the 2017 movie. In the 1974 movie they had this. So it's him, Monsieur Bock, which is the British guy who's like a total
he's there with like a prostitute.
loose
It's really
guy.
weird.
He's not in the original book. He's just a French guy or Belgian guy who just happens to know Poirot and is the director of the train line, right? And so he's like, "Oh, Monsieur Poirot, like we'll get together and do this." And it's really interesting because in the book, and they didn't have this in the 74 novel either. In the book, Poirot is he just finished a case. He's in a restaurant. He goes to check into a hotel. As he checks into the hotel, they're like, "Oh, we have a telegram for you." And the telegram is like, "We need you back in London ASAP because we have an update on this case," which I think they did reference that in the movie.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
he had to go back because there was an update on the case.
Yep.
Right. So it's like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll get a train, but there's still time for dinner, right?" And he's like, "Yes, you still have time for dinner." So it's like, "Great." So he cancels his hotel, goes to dinner, and then Buck like finds him in the restaurant. It's like, "Oh, I'll put you on this Orient Express. Like we'll make sure you're first class." He sees Ratchet there for the first time, right? And he's like, Ratchet looks like, and this isn't something that I think neither movie captured super well, is that Ratchet seems like a perfectly fine gentleman, but then Poirot was like, I looked in his eyes, and he looked like a savage beast. So Poirot like clocks this guy as someone dangerous, even though he's presenting himself well. In the movie, 2017 movie,
Yeah.
Ratchet was an asshat,
Yeah, he
totally, like clearly the bad guy.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm evil and I'm bad.
Yeah, he's not that in the 74 movie and the other one. He does, and now they did keep the line, which they did in the 74 movie, is basically like he says, "Poirot, someone's trying to kill me. I want to hire you." And he's like, "I'll give you this much money." And Poirot's like, "Nope, not going to do it."
Yeah.
Like, I know what this is worth. I can't go higher than $20,000. He's like, "It's not the money. If I may say, it's a personal note. I don't like your face," and then walks away. And he doesn't get angry about it. He's just like, "I don't like your face. Sorry about it." So they did keep that line, but the way they played it. But so a couple of things they changed. So they added Leslie Odom Jr. They subbed him in so the guy he plays, Abernathy or what, I can't remember his name.
Abernathy?
Yeah, something like
Arbuthnot.
Arbuthnot or something ridiculous, right? So in the original, he's just a British general, like British army guy coming back from India.
Okay.
So they made him into a black American doctor or black British doctor, right? So they could add some racial stuff in that has nothing to do with the original movie.
Just the
They literally just like
racism in there.
Literally,
Gotta
that
have
was
some
the
of it, though.
only reason they put him in was to just sprinkle a little racism and just.
It's as if they're
Completely
it's
pointless.
as if, and I'll let you get it back. But it's as if they're like, hey, we need to get more diversity in this movie. We need to get more black actors into this movie. And once they're there, they're like, what's interesting about black people? They're like, racism. And like that's all they have. It's all they have. And I'm like, you moron, just let him be a character.
Yeah, and
Anyways.
and it had nothing to do with that. So the Latin lady Linda Portnoy, she was originally a Swedish person. So they made her more diverse
Penelope
too.
Cruz.
Yeah, so they
Yeah,
made her more
Penelope
diverse too
Cruz.
because she was supposed to be a Swedish person.
God bet be busy.
Yeah,
Stupid line.
So in the original movie, there's the 12 passengers, right? Which they mostly got. Of course, they swapped out the Swedish lady for the Spanish lady, and they swapped out the British general in India, or the British guy from India, in for the black man from Britain. Which, like, okay, I guess, whatever. I don't care that much. But they changed. So Michelle is like, my wife was the person who didn't know. It was his daughter, which to me, honestly, is more impactful. That the maid who kills herself was the daughter. So they changed some of the relationships in ways that I'm like, why? It doesn't change anything other than making it less, like less of a good adaptation.
Yeah.
But here's one of the interesting things I bet you didn't know. There's no avalanche. It's just a snowdrift. Like the train just stops because there's snow. And what's interesting is that it's actually based off of two real events that happened around the time. So the Lindbergh baby was 1932. So do you know the Lindbergh baby? So
I have
Charles,
no
you know who
idea.
Charles Lindbergh is?
I do know Lindbergh sounds familiar.
Charles Lindbergh's famous American pilot, like the first person to do a transatlantic
No,
flight.
but I didn't know that. Thought he was president or something.
No, he was the first person to do a
Do we
transatlantic
have a
flight.
Lindbergh president?
But very famously,
don't
he
think
had a
so.
child, and that child was kidnapped. They paid the ransom, and the child was never found, assumed murdered. So very tragic story, the Lindbergh baby, happened in like 1932. Around that same time, the Orient Express, which is a real train, you can still go on the Orient Express today.
Oh, that's cool.
There was a snowdrift, and it got stuck for 6 days. And then one time when Agatha Christie herself was on the Orient Express, it also got stuck in the snow. So she took those two real events and kind of combined them into this Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, cool.
So the whole thing. So to set up the whole thing is that this Ratchet guy is actually, and Poirot finds this out. What's interesting is he figures this out in the movie and in the book. He's like checking them, and he does the little flame thing, which he does differently in the book, but he does the same thing. He's a flame thing, and he finds the Armstrong, and he figures out, oh, this guy's related to the Daisy Armstrong case. This must be this Cassetti guy who was a gangster. So there was like a girl named Daisy Armstrong who was 3 years old who was kidnapped. The parents paid the ransom, and they still found the body of Daisy, like dead body of Daisy. So this little 3-year-old girl gets murdered, and the mother who is with child goes into premature labor and dies in childbirth. So there's a stillborn child, and she dies. So she has a miscarriage, and she dies. The father commits suicide, and then the maid gets accused as being complicit in the crime and as committing suicide as well. And so there's just like multiple people are severely impacted by this, and then Cassetti himself basically gets away with it. From the book, if I remember correctly, like the book, I think it's just implied that because he was so well connected with the mob, he was basically able to bribe his way out. In this movie, I don't remember. What did they say? How did they say he got away with it? I think they just said he just got away.
Apparently, there wasn't enough evidence, and by the time he was long gone.
Right.
It
He
was
just
very,
basically
very
like they fingered the wrong
briefly-
person,
Yeah.
and he just got away.
Yeah.
And then in the 74 movie, they said they found the person who actually did the killing, but he was the one who organized it, and he had gotten away by the time they had done the trial with the. So
Okay.
from my memory in the book, it's just they just said basically he was able to bribe his way out of it.
Yeah, they definitely did a job to make Cassetti seem way worse, I think, in the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
so in
he's bad
2017, they
every
kept
way.
trying to imply that, oh, he's terrible, terrible, terrible. And this one, they were just like, yeah, he murdered a 3-year-old girl. And they also tell you that this is what his gang did. Like, he was in charge of this mafia gang. They would kidnap people
Guilty by
and
association.
ransom them. When they would get the ransom money, they would kill them anyways.
So one of the sorry, I didn't mean to
Go
cut
ahead.
you off.
Yeah,
One of the things that I could not, when I was watching this, get my head around was every single time William Dafoe came on the screen, and I couldn't.
I
stop.
love Willem Dafoe.
I couldn't stop thinking about this YouTube video.
He's gay.
He's here. Let me quickly.
hit
replay
us with it,
this
hit us with it.
here.
This is the greatest meme.
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
People use that clip when it's like
gay.
when it's like when you're talking about the guy that's like winning your fantasy football league, and it's just he's gay, but he loves classical music.
I prefer the Arrested Development of Busted Line of Guys. He's gay! The accusatory point.
I just could not,
Every
for
time
the
you see
life
him,
of me,
he's
stop
gay.
thinking it every
You said
single
it
time.
every time he came
Every
on
time he
screen.
came on the screen, I'm like, he's gay.
Yeah, so they made him like some German guy. So in the original and the 74 movie, he's just he's just like presenting himself as a guy, but it turns out like, oh, he's actually a private detective. And what's interesting, so and they did a very poor job of this in the movie. They did a much better job in the 74 movie. Okay, so the whole let me go through the book plot. The whole book plot is Hercule Poirot ends up being called back to London. He ends up on the Orient Express, right? And he has had this interaction with the guy from India, and
You actually got it right
Miss,
there.
Miss Debenham.
That's actually correct pronunciation.
And Miss my accent is impeccable. And Miss Debenham, right? And he overhears them talking and having conversation and being very close to each other. And then he overhears the when it's all over conversation, which he brings up like once in the 2017 movie. In the book and in the 74 movie, he confronts her about that multiple times when he's interviewing her. And she's like, I can't tell you about it. And then he asks the guy, he's also like, she said this, tell me about that. And he's like, I can't tell you about that. He's like, okay. So in the book, right, there's two crucial things which the 2017 movie completely flopped, right? So one thing is two things. So one thing is that when Poirot like looks out, there's the girl with the red kimono with dragons on it running down the hall, right?
That's right.
That means absolutely nothing in the 2017 one.
This is true. I was wondering why that made any sense.
What's the point of that? Okay, well he sees that girl in the red. Poirot sees the girl in the red kimono running down the hall, right? And he hears noises, and then he goes to bed and wakes up. Next day, they find out that Ratchet's been murdered. They go to the room, and they didn't explain this very well in the 2017 movie. They did better in the 74. Obviously, the book does it the best. Where there's three people who are kind of involved in the investigation in 74 in the book, where it's Poirot, it's Bach, or whatever his name is, and it's this third guy, this Greek doctor, Constantine, who just like happens to be in the second class carriage. And he's a doctor, so he's like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll help out with the investigation. So the whole book is they're interviewing all the suspects, and the 74 one does a great job of this, too, where they'll interview someone, and then Poirot will be like, that's interesting, and then Boke and the doctor are like, it's him! It must have been him! It must have been her! It's very funny, because they're, like, offering their theories of what they thought happened, and Poirot's like, it could be. Maybe. Let's bring in the next person. But what you find out from the book and from the other movie is that he's been stabbed 12 times, and the doctor's like, okay, these wounds are weird. Some of these wounds were clearly made by a right-handed person. Some of them were clearly made by a left-handed person. Some of these wounds are very aggressive, like they stabbed through bone. Could only have been done by a man, like a very strong man. Even like a really strong woman probably couldn't make, like maybe a super athletic woman could have done this, like an athlete, but there are none of those on the train. So it had to be a man. But here there are some wounds where it barely even broke the skin. Like a very weak person did this. And so they're like the wounds tell a weird story. It doesn't make sense. And so as they're going, they have the initial thing, like it had to be at least more than one person, or you couldn't have, like their initial thing is like there had to be two different people in on this, because you have a right-handed person and a left-handed person at the very least. So their initial theory is that something had happened. So as they're doing the interviews with everyone, there are some things that line up. Everyone has an alibi. And again, I don't think this came out very well in the 2017 one.
No.
Everyone has an alibi. So it's like two people will be like, yeah, this guy was in my compartment, like the Ratchet Ball. No, McQueen. So McQueen is like, oh yeah, the guy from India, he came over and we just shot the shit. Which in the 2017 they're like, oh, he had some ideas about Stalin. In this one, there was like he had some ideas about India, and I had to set him straight. And there was like, yeah, I don't usually like British people, but he was all right. And the British guy's like, oh, I don't usually like Americans, but he was all right. And so like they're just shooting the shit the whole time, right? And then it's like everyone had alibis with someone else, right? But they all have like everyone saw the girl in the scarlet kimono, and everyone keeps mentioning that there was this porter who we know is missing a button because they found a button for the jacket, and they're like, he was a small, stark man with a very high pitched feminine voice. And there's like multiple corroborating stories that, oh yeah, I heard that. So they're like, okay, well, it sounds like there was a person imitating a porter, possibly a woman, but someone who wasn't supposed to be on the train. Maybe it was a mafia assassin. Maybe it was someone who was out to get Cassetti, right? And then at the end, Poirot reveals like they were all in on it together, which is why their alibis meshed together so well. What really happened is they drugged Cassetti. They all went in and took turns stabbing him so that nobody knew who actually killed him. The whole point was like a firing squad where it's like, I don't know if this is actually the case. You can let me know, but I've heard a tale that when in firing squads they only load one person's gun with real bullets.
Correct.
So that nobody actually knows who shot them.
That's the idea, yeah. So that the individual that is the individuals that are shooting, they don't feel the guilt because they can just say, "Oh, it wasn't my gun."
Yeah, it wasn't my
and
gun.
And it's just like, let's say like 12 of them and 11 of them have blanks.
So,
they're shooting blanks, but the one guy is shooting.
Yeah. So that's the idea here: is that every person gets a stab. Nobody knows who did the killing blow, and they even like the doctors even like some of these wounds are weird because they would definitely be lethal, but they weren't bleeding, so they were post-mortem. Like he was dead when and he didn't defend himself at all. He didn't move at all. He was drugged out of his mind, so he didn't respond. So they basically what you find out ends up happening is they turned the lights out. They went in one at a time and stabbed him once. To basically, it was basically like the firing squad, right? Yeah. But you find out in the interviews, like during the second round of interviews, Poirot reveals that he knows that every single person is not just connected to the Armstrong case, but intimately connected to the Armstrong case. Again, 2017, in his monologue, he's going through this.
Right.
Like, oh, you were this person. So they know immediately that the Countess or the Princess Dragomanima, that she is the godmother of the woman who was Daisy's mom, right? Okay? They find out that Princess, or the Countess there's so many ridiculous names. Countess Dramani was actually her sister. Count Dramani obviously is married to her. That's the martial arts guy.
Okay.
And then you find out that the conductor, Michel, was the father of the maid who killed herself. That Miss Debenham was the governess, or like basically her tutor. That Olga, which is the Penelope Cruz's character, was her maid, right? Like everyone was intimately, and that the Italian guy, that was he was the chauffeur, and they all just like breaking down in tears, like they all loved Daisy, and they're all like super deeply impacted by it. You just don't get that in the 2017 one, how deeply affected they all were by her death. That everyone is so intimately connected to this, and so then at the very end, it is the same ending, but the way it happens in the book is Poirot gathers everyone into the train compartment, and he says, there are two possible solutions. Number one is, as all the eyewitnesses have stated, and this didn't happen at all, that Miss Hubbard was like, there was a man in my apartment, I think was the murderer, right? She thinks that someone snuck into her compartment. Okay, so either all the eyewitnesses are correct, and somehow an assassin got on the train and killed him and got off without anyone seeing. And Boak and the doctor are like, well, that's impossible. It could be, what's your other option? And Poirot's like, okay, the other option is even crazier. And then he lays out how everyone was connected to the case. They drugged him. How they were able to arrange it that they would all be on the train. And they don't do this in the 2017 one, but in the book, Boak mentions like it's so weird that the train is full. This is like a really weird time. he was so sure that, oh, of course we're going to be able to get you a compartment in first class. Nobody's on the train right now. But it was completely booked. He's like, oh, it's so weird. And so weird that there are people of all these nationalities and backgrounds. And what a diverse group of people on the train. So bizarre. And Poirot's like, yeah, it is bizarre because it was planned. Like, where else? And it's really interesting because he says, where else would you find such an amalgamation of nationalities and backgrounds except America? So, and so Poirot, lays out basically like, here's how it all went down. Everyone was connected. Everyone was partially guilty. Like, nobody knows who actually killed him, but everyone stabbed him, right? And then he says, those are the two possible combinations. And then Buck and Constantine look at each other and say, yeah, well, it was clearly the first one. The latter one's ridiculous. Like they so in the other one, Book and Constantine, the doctor, make the decision. They say, we're gonna let them get away with it, right? And Poirot says, okay, if you made your decision, I resign from the case, and that's the end of the book.
And that, like,
she never sets it up as he's having a moral struggle.
Yeah, that's the part that I didn't like in the movie. Well, amongst a lot of other things,
Sure.
But and we can open this up to chat about it. But like, no matter how bad he is, I don't think that that's the way you should handle things.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And I think that if he is supposed to be a depiction of a good detective who cares about the law and justice, like, he should be like, hey, I know that you guys are all hurting, but this is not the right way to handle it. Like, I wish that we would have found justice and found this guy, but like, I'm not going to look the other way when you guys, like, you didn't just like, hey, we put him in a situation where he died. Yeah. It was like you all kind of brutally murdered him. Like, you all stabbed him to death, like in a stabbing party with 12 of you.
Yeah.
Like,
and
we're like, we can't, like, that's not cool. And I figured it out, and the cops are going to believe me.
And basically what ends up happening is, in the movies, and actually in both of the movies, but really in the 2017 one, he's like, yeah, you're going to have to shoot me to keep me quiet because I have to tell the truth. Da-da-da-da-da. In the books, he's like, I can't prove that it was all 13 of you.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the best explanation for the evidence. I would not be able to prove this in a court of law because they've cleaned up all the evidence. Their eyewitness accounts all agree that it was the assassin, right? But he's saying these things that don't fit with the assassin story,
right? I
can fit all the stuff I know. I can fit together through this crazy story.
Well, in the movie,
and he basically says, I'm going to leave. These are my two explanations. You have to pick one. Right. And so he kind of recuses himself of making a moral judgment.
And in the movie, they make it seem like whatever he says is going to go. They'll believe you. Like, the cops will believe whatever you say, so you have to say it. And he was basically like, well, it's clearly this, but yeah, it must have just been a random person, because I don't see any killers here. None of you guys are killers.
He does not say that.
All of those people stabbed a guy.
They are literally, by definition, killers.
Yes, they drugged a guy that they didn't like. Understandably horrible dude, awful things. They drugged him, and then they all took turns stabbing him while he was paralyzed.
Well, it's the old Punisher thing. Like, if you have a problem with the Punisher, you should have a problem with this.
Yeah, and that is the idea. This is why, if you're going to make them out to be vigilante superheroes, well, that's a different story. Like, they're going out, but even vigilante superheroes, we're always raising an eyebrow and kind of iffy on the ones that are actually killing people, right? Like the Punisher, he's kind of fun to watch in a superhero sense, but I think all of us agree that he goes over the line. Like, he's not, like, Batman is much more agreeable, right? He has his boundaries where he's like, hey, I want to stop crime. I want to do it in a fierce, masculine, just way, but also, like, I have these boundaries.
Now,
I'm not just going to become a murderer.
So here's the interesting thing.
Now I know we're opening it up to
no. Here's the interesting thing. So original Batman, like 1940s Batman, iced people. He iced motherfuckers left and right. And it's funny because, again, this book was written in 1934, so it may be that we're looking at it through 21st century lens.
Yeah.
And Agatha Christie was like looking at it through, again, 1934, so 1930s lens, like post World War I, but pre World War II. And it's interesting because, again, Batman, one of the very first Batman comics is like Hugo Strange makes these big monster guys, and one of them gets like caught on a plane and hung and dies. And Batman's like, yeah, well, it was probably better for him to die like that than to continue to live as a monster. And they're perfectly okay with, like, hey, criminals are like fall out of windows or actually get shot, and Batman's like, but if you do bad things will happen to you.
But even Batman,
I think would
even Batman is killing people in a fight, not going and drugging people and then just stabbing them to death. When
you're right. But I do think maybe maybe there's like slightly different. And again, there is no moral judgment passed in either direction. I think, and I think it's intentionally to leave it up to the reader to say, do you agree with what Poirot did or not?
Whereas the movie
you're not given any insight of to whether he thinks it's the right thing to do or not. All he says is, this is what here are the two situations. You have to make it. He leaves it up to Book and the doctor, and he says, I'm going to leave it to you. Well, you hired me to solve this case. Here are my two solutions. You got to run with it.
Well, and I think something that's disappointing about how the movie does it is that you're watching it. It's a whodunit. You're trying to figure out what happened, and then his conclusion, he's just like, and my conclusion is that nothing happened, and none of these people are killers, and he walks off. And it's like, all right,
that's very stupid.
Dude, if we're actually looking at what happened, nothing happened. Like, yes, you gave the conclusion, but then you didn't follow it through. Like, so you're basically just preaching to the movie watchers, and then the actual practice of it is that I don't really care about the justice of it. I'm just going to make my own moral compass on the whole situation, and I don't know.
So there's two things that I want to add to this.
Yeah.
The first being,
and we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up. So the first thing is that Greg actually looks like the Mario character right now.
Wait, which one?
This one.
Tanuki Mario, yes. Quick,
I don't see
Greg,
it.
say, Mamma Mia.
I don't see it.
It's me.
And then the last thing is that wahoo! The last thing is it really genuinely sounds like the book was the only good rendition of this.
So
of this
I'll say the 1974
like,
movie is very good. It's about as close to the book as you can get. It has about the same ending. There's a little more. Again, he doesn't quite nail Poirot, but Agatha Christie thought it was good. But the way it's shot is much better.
Okay.
You get the idea of this is a train. It's a little claustrophobic. And then the last 30 minutes of the movie is the reveal. Is him like pacing back and forth and revealing. It's very good. It's very
so what were you getting at, Mark?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I was just saying, like, listening again. I go back to the idea that this movie was as if somebody was telling me a story and I forgot that they were telling a story, right? And I feel like the
check
book
back in later.
Yeah, I feel like the book would have actually kept me.
I mean, some things are just better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that was. Which brings me to my final thought segment, which is exactly the first thing as my first thought, which is this movie meant absolutely nothing to me.
That's totally
fair.
Did not know the reveal. You didn't know the reveal at the end.
No, I didn't, and I thought the reveal was dumb. It was as much of a cop out as you can get, based on I don't know. It was just bad. Everything about it was bad.
I'll say the reason it works really well in the book and doesn't work in the 2017 movie for me is because of the way a whodunit works. Is when you're reading a whodunit, when you're reading a murder mystery, you are most people, I think, as you're reading, you're trying to figure it out as it goes, right?
Yeah.
So as information is being revealed, you're doing the same thing that Poirot is doing. And it's funny because he has the two other guys who are making the accusations. Like the doctor's like, well, it must have been a woman. No one else would stab someone that many times. And the doctor's like, well, it was probably an Italian guy because Italians stab people, right? So
clearly,
clearly, he's like, that's what the Italians do. Like, Mamma mia! Stab. But as you're accruing information, you're like, oh, okay, this is this. And so what ends up happening with the red kimono, because that didn't mean anything in the 2017 movie,
right?
He ends up finding he's like, okay, because he asks each person as they interview all the ladies, he's like, just out of curiosity, what color is your nightgown? And they're like, oh my, Mr. Poirot. And he's like, just tell me. And so nobody has, so he's like, okay, well, nobody has this. And he says, oh, this person's going to end up having the spare uniform in her luggage because she's the least likely to have it. So they're going to try to pin it on her. And it's the maid or whatever, right? And then he opens his luggage and he finds the scarlet kimono. He's like, they're messing with me. And so, again, it turns out like that was a complete red herring to create their alibi story.
Right.
So like every person on that train except for those three people were in on the murder, which is why he's like, I can't go to the court and prove this.
Yeah.
It sounds too outlandish. But you got to make your decision. And they decide at the end of the day, there was delayed justice. Like basically Book and the doctor are like, we're going to have to look the other way on this.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So overall thoughts on just
overall
17.
Thoughts, 2017, fucking terrible. Okay. I mean, just like, again, what really rubbed me the wrong way was the way Poirot was just a dick to everyone. And that's not who he's so charming in the books. And he was not charming in the slightest in this movie.
Yeah, I don't mind a just kind of turn your brain off whodunit. Like you can just sit there and be drug along. was Jug Along, and I'm like, oh, this is fine. Even the second time, I got roped in again. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. He's kind of funny and whatever. But the ending to me is just one of the silliest, just lamest in every way. And how it's shot is laughable, and the fact that it's a stabbing party is laughable, and the moral things that they try to draw from it are laughable and terrible. And then the ultimate conclusion of a whodunit being that nothing is going to happen is stupid. So, yeah, I think that the ending just plummets the whole movie. So
I will say, like, again, keep in mind, this was written in 1934. So the idea that, like, oh, it wasn't just the one murder, everyone was in on it, was actually, like, totally revolutionary as far as a twist.
Fair.
But that kind of thing, like, it's harder and harder to
you would
appreciate
get
whodunits.
now you listen to it and you're like, oh, he wanted to kill her, so he could have done it. She wanted to kill her, so and you're like, yeah, the answer is all of them. And I was like, that's dumb.
Well, again,
it's no longer interesting.
The book does
now.
a much better job in saying, like, it had to be more than one person.
Right.
And then Poirot's like, it was more than one person, and in fact, everyone was in on it. So again, it works much better as the book, and it gives you the little tidbits. Again, with murder mysteries, it's when you see the reveal, you should be able to look back and see, oh, here's how all the evidence lined up to get there.
Right.
Agatha Christie's very good at writing those. It's sometimes very hard to translate that to a movie. Again, I think 74 is a much better movie. Not perfect, but much better. 2017 is an abysmal adaptation. Just absolutely abysmal.
Hit him with the ratings.
Yes,
Yeah.
the ratings. You've got 2 ratings to go through. I'm going to give each of you a chance to get this as a score. We'll start with the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
You're going to do the
Nathaniel.
5? The ranking 5?
I will.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'm going to do the ratings first.
Okay.
70.
For critics?
You for the critics, 70.
For the critics, 70. Because it was flashy. It had Kenneth Branagh on it. It had a lot of star power.
I'm going to say
Fairly well acted.
53.
Technically, Greg, you are closer. It was 60.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. For the viewers, the non-critics, just generic viewers,
65.
68.
Nathaniel, you're closer with 54. So
Okay.
it is-
Okay. Good. That's good.
I
then.
had my critics
It's a good
and,
thing. It's a
and
good
I
thing.
always do
Backwards.
this. So, yeah, I always mix them.
Which leads me to my next thing, which is our own ratings.
Personal
And I
rating.
will start, as expected, fairly low because this movie did absolutely nothing for me. And I'm going to give this a solid 10 out of 100.
Really? Is that less than your last one?
Yes.
Wow. You
The
didn't like-
only redeeming quality of the other one was the score because I liked the music. That was it.
And there's nothing in this one?
I got nothing.
Wow,
It,
that sucks.
I
You
promise
suck.
you, it's literally how it felt. It felt like some random kid who's 9 years old just told you the longest story in the entire world, and then you only realize it's
And then
done because
everyone
there's
died.
this awkward silence at the end, and you're like, "Oh, you're done." That's how it felt. It wasn't good. I'm sorry.
I think it wasn't good either.
enough.
I would
I don't
just
think it was good
I'd
either.
rather watch that than angry
I'll say that
people
as
in a
well.
little small town. So I rated that one a 22, I believe.
Yes.
I'm going to rate this one. We'll give it a
23.
It's bad, dude. I'm gonna give it a 30
30.
flat.
I'm
30
also
flat.
gonna give it a 30 because Kenneth Branagh's mustache was impeccable.
There were some there were some charming parts about it. He's gay.
He's gay.
I like that part.
Anyways, so
I
that's
like that
that's
part.
your ratings 10, 30, 30. Again, I'm the lowest as per usual. It seems like.
He's a curmudgeon. What can we
Yeah,
say?
I couldn't get. Anyways.
can't.
All right,
I just-
rate
I
these
can't
5. Nathaniel,
Yeah.
uh,
Best trains.
this one might get you canceled, and I apologize in advance.
Hell yeah, let's cancel me.
It's not so much.
How would this get me canceled more than half the stuff I've said in other podcasts?
Yes, no,
I
it's
want
not
this
that. I'm
so
just
bad
I'm
for
just
my
going
birthday.
to
Just
I'm
make
going
him,
to pre.
I don't know what it is, but
it-
make him.
It's funny. I just think that you're going to
Screw up.
overdo it. And anyways, it is rate these 5.
Genders.
Gay guys.
Rate these 5 accents as if a girl is speaking them to you. And the reason why I'm going to say that this may cancel you is because I have a feeling you're going to do these accents and it's going to be horrible and it's going to be hilarious. That's
I mean,
my
I will.
reasoning.
You're not wrong.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Don't make
So number
me
one-
pick
so-
you.
with a good
so-
time.
So one
an
is an
accent
accent that's like more
Pleasing to
attractive.
you. Yep. You're,
Yeah, more attractive.
Number one,
Yeah.
number 1 accent that is like amazing to you.
How about
number
you say
5
it,
accent is
and I'll
awful.
do the accent as if I'm
No,
talking
no, no.
to you.
Yes.
I'll do
Oh,
the accent.
please do.
Please. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Number 1, Nathaniel. Well, not number 1. Your first one is a Southern accent.
Oh hell yeah! I just love the way The sun flows on my hair. Yeah, like the Southern Belle.
Over there in this corn patch.
Kermit, what the hell are you doing here? Sexy as hell, though.
Seems like a real
This is
Southern
going off
person.
the walls real fast.
Real quick.
Southern accent, I mean, it's not, honestly, Southern Belle accent doesn't do, I mean, I'm from the South, so it's
Look
like,
at me wiggle my big toes.
give it a 4. Southern
4?
Belle accent doesn't do a whole lot
All
for
right.
me, I'm going to be honest.
All right.
There's some
your,
cute
your
Southern
next one on the
accents
list.
I agree, but it doesn't do much for me.
Your next one, British.
Like proper British or like Cockney
Just in
British?
general, whatever you assume British, whatever, just do your British accent.
Throw that flip
Oh, yes,
right
hello.
over here into my
Yeah.
face.
Oh!
I'm trying to do
We're
the
just
ugliest.
gonna go down to the pub for bang, there's a mash in it. It's not quite as much as, oh, hello.
What?
Take
what do
your
you think?
corkies out and throw them at me.
So the way that I envision it is, you do your own British accent, and
Well,
that's the
Queen's-
one you're
Queen's are-
thinking of.
So I'll give like a proper British accent. I'll put that at 2.
Okay.
Like,
Proper.
like if it is Cockney, that's probably like a 6.
So 2 and 4 are gone. Your next one, Russian.
Comrade, listen. I give you good sexy time. Yeah, that's a 5.
Woof.
Lay down with me, please. Please.
Number, your
Lay
third
down
on the
with me.
list. 2, 4, and 5 are gone. Your third one on the list, French.
Oh.
Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah.
This-
This
Just
where
so
we get
you're
real
aware,
crazy.
this is my absolute least favorite accent in the entire world.
Wah, 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 wah. Do so, don't, don't, don't.
It's
I'll give it a
so
3.
Wah.
3? Oh God, I would.
Wah,
put
wah,
that
wah.
It
in
depends
my
on how
negative.
thick it is, but like, I'll give it a 3.
And last but not least, your number one.
Hell yeah.
What did you leave?
Hell
the
yeah.
hell do you
German.
say?
Asian.
How many times do you put me at the wrong one?
Canceled.
I like you.
You
I'll take
say that you don't like my accent.
Would you have put Asian somewhere else? That's the real
Okay,
question.
first of all, just saying an Asian accent is fucking racist. It's like Chinese accent, Korean accent,
close
Japanese
enough.
accent.
Because we have Japanese,
Oreo.
and then we have Chinese, which is just like,
The way you don't like my...
Okay, now Greg's canceled, like so canceled. Holy.
I'm giving
I
you.
knew this was gonna be the. I knew
This
this was
is
gonna be the
cultural
case.
representation. I'm just doing my best. We're just a couple of bros out
I
here late on
absolutely
a
knew this was
Monday
gonna
night
be
So
doing our
it's
best.
funny because it really depends. Like, there are variants of this accent. There's like the really thick accent where you can't understand it, and for all of these, there's the really thick accent where you can't understand a damn word that's being said.
Use the
And there's
colander.
like the light accent where you're like, ooh, it's foreign and mysterious and it's sexy, and that could apply to any of these on the list.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's fair. That is fair.
My thing, I just can't do French accents. I think they're. I think they're
Sarko's ultimate conclusion is just
You do
wah,
not
wah,
like
wah,
the
wah.
French accent.
to the point
How
where-
dare you? I would
which is
prepare
which is
Madame
really funny because
Guillotine.
Greg, you watched this movie with me. The main
I will
actor
throw baguettes at you.
Perot is French, and
Yeah.
I
He's
instantaneously
Belgian, you
had to-
racist.
He sounded French. Tell me he didn't sound French.
because they speak French in Belgium.
Okay, regardless, same shit. Point I'm
Yes,
trying to
it
make is,
is.
what was the first thing I did when we first started watching this movie? Put the subtitles on.
This is fair.
I can't
Yeah.
do it.
And
I
your mom also agreed. She's like, "What are they saying?" And
Yes.
I'm like,
So racist against
Same.
French people, unbelievable.
"That is actually inaccurate."
Oh, I will say, Sean Connery's in the 1974 version. He's who Leslie Odom Jr. is in the 2017 one, and they see like he's talking with
He's
so
like,
yeah, Pushy. No, he literally.
He just shows up to say that.
They're like on a ferry. On a ferry, and he's talking to Debenham, and Perot like overhears. That's when he overhears the conversation. No, like later, once it's all over, he sneezes, and they look up, and Debenham says, "Who is that strange little man?" And Sean Connery says, "Must be some frog." Get wrecked, French idiot. Now let me see that
Oh
pusher.
boy. All right, so let me prep you guys for
If you
what's
haven't
happening.
watched Goldfinger, go watch Goldfinger.
Let me prep you guys for what's happening in 2 weeks from today. So, we took a look at the this would be November 24th. Not great pickings, and so we tried. We
Okay, let me pause and let you decide if there's good picking. Tangled, Toy Story 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Greg's like, I don't like movies, so we're not going to watch any of those.
I'm sorry,
Coco, John Boney, Coco.
It's been a long time, dude. It's been a long few weeks of movies. and I'm
It has
sorry.
been, and I don't
Story
disagree
2?
with you.
Okay.
I think that this
We're gonna
is-
go on topical, a little more topical, and this is in the same theme of release dates. And it's not the exact date, but Stranger Things.
So we're stretching
the
it
new
to make it a TV series, and then we're stretching it again because it's not actually releasing on the 24th.
I suggested this,
I
and you
didn't make the
guys all
rules.
said
Okay,
okay.
I did. I can't-
And now
Listen,
you're berating me now
listen,
that I'm live.
I'm just briefing
Personally,
you.
I can't do these on the date of anymore because they are just ass. I have not given a score over 50 in the last like 4 weeks.
Toy Story 2, you wouldn't give a score over 50?
Toy Story 2 is great.
I would have given that, yes.
But
But
also-
over the last 4
We
or
just
5
watched Puss in
episodes, I'm
Boots,
pretty
and I think
confident. Oh, it's just so bad. Everything I've watched is so bad, and I'm
so I
sick
was
and tired
saying,
of it.
I was saying we should do
God, I'm
months,
so done.
and we should pick one and then do a roulette wheel for the other one.
But
anyways,
we'll
we can
see
talk about
where
that.
we go. As far as in 2 weeks, what we're going to be doing on the 24th at 8 p.m. is we will be doing a collective review of Stranger Things in
It's pronounced
anticipation.
Stronger Thongs.
In anticipation for the release of the final season, season 5, that comes out on the day before Thanksgiving. So a couple days later after our show. So we will just be kind of doing a collective review of the first 4 seasons.
you have
So
to
we'll
watch
spend
again.
the
It's been
whole kind of
years.
hour and a half, 2 hours on diving into those. I have been watching them. I have a lot of thoughts on them. Nathaniel has watched all them before. Him and Marco will do some freshening up to prepare for the show.
Probably.
And we are going to be excited to talk about Stranger Things in preparation for the final season. Who knows? Do we like it? Do we not like it? Where are our
I
thoughts
think
and
seasons
feelings
1 and 4 are
on?
very good. 2 and 3 are a little iffy.
Yeah, we'll
Why
get
is
into
it-
it. Dig into
we'll
it.
get into it.
We'll
They
dig
made that
into
one
it.
kid gay.
He's gay.
He's gay.
He's gay.
gay. So until next time, we hope you guys follow the show. We hope you guys join in again.
Read the book. It doesn't take that long. Or watch the 74 movie. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, not recommending either of the movies from this week, but if you do want to go read the book, we hear good things. So go ahead and do that. And in preparation, come with your Stranger Things thoughts and your Stranger Things opinion, and join us on 8 p.m. November 24th as we go live. And we are.
But if you want to watch a better, or if you want to read a better Poirot novel, 13 at Dinner was really good.
Yeah. Until next time, this is the 4D podcast.
This is the 4D podcast. Hey, do. Hey, dude over there.
Kermit, who let you back in?